So you may have to help them with that.
Okay.
Hopefully they will.
Okay, it's should be. I'm going to need to mute because it's probably going to do a feedback loop. So
Yeah, I'm going to go over to the YouTube stream. So I'll be back.
sweet, it's unmuted or it's muted already.
So James, when you said it's unmuted or it's muted, what do you mean?
Sorry, I meant the YouTube stream. So what happened the first time I did this is that it brings up the video in a web browser. And so anything that we were broadcasting came through to that video. So what it did is loop back to us the sound. So it just went over and over, just in an infinite loop. So it ruined the meeting pretty much.
Okay.
So I checked the mute and now it's broadcasting live and we have no feedback loop. So we're good.
So in the settings, where is it?
Oh, I'm now in the Zoom.
So James, in the settings, when a participant comes in, they can't mute or unmute.
Correct. So what I did is in the settings, I opened up the menu and there was a checkbox next to allow participants to unmute themselves. So I unchecked that box.
So that is interesting because on our main profile, that should always be checked off. So anyway.
And I remember going in there and checking that too on the web and going into our settings and
yeah,
so that they couldn't do that. But it's just something we'll have to pay attention to for each time we start up the meeting.
right. I'm going to go on mute and check YouTube.
So I got in the YouTube link just fine.
Okay, great. Ken, if you can hear me, your display name says Ken Duke Ken, just in case you're wanting to know. He said he went on mute, so.
Yes, I heard you, James.
I'm
Okay,
going to go back
cool.
into Zoom. I don't need to now.
You're just going to stay on YouTube?
No, I'm not going to stay on any of it.
Okay.
I don't need to. So I'm going to hear it from over there, right?
Yes,
Yep, see, I can hear that.
just at a slight delay.
Yeah, that's okay.
The only way I know how to stop the YouTube stream is to stop the meeting. So in order to stop us from live streaming, I may have to end the meeting.
I don't think anyone has been designated, period. I'm happy to do it. But as I said yesterday, you guys get to make the final call, period.
So I think the YouTube stream is working. So, okay, cool.
So you can just leave it up until we start.
I closed the window.
8:19, James?
What's that?
It's 8:19.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go run to the bathroom.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do the same.
Yeah, and get my gavel. I don't want to be moving around. Probably when we both get back, there'll be people there that you'll have to let in. And you might tell Ken that we're leaving for a minute.
Ken, if you could hear me, Everett and I are leaving for just a few minutes, but we'll be right back. Probably about no more than 2-3 minutes.
Okay, I can hear
10
you.
minutes, 20 minutes, 30, probably about 45 minutes.
I will monitor the waiting room and let people in.
Yeah. Hi. Who's that? Oh, hey, Danielle. Hey, Danielle. So we changed our mind. We decided you could sit anywhere you want in the room and use your own phone and camera.
Yeah.
And talk. You won't use. You'll use your own audio.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Rather than the microphones and over here and stuff.
That's fine.
Okay. It worked out better, and at least you'll be close to the wheel. At least you'll be close to the wheel.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, much better.
What's much better?
So I raised the light
Okay.
a little higher and then angled it down.
Okay.
I don't even need to angle it down the way as much light as it splashes out.
Okay.
Okay, so about, I don't know, a few minutes before we start, I'll come over and turn it back on.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out where I should put myself. If I should be directly, or what about this table right here? Do you think think this is,
You are welcome to use that table. There's.
I'm gonna have all my stuff over here, and I'm just gonna bring the door prizes right here. So so I'll get them ready, and then I'll just have them on the table kind of thing. But I can move the boxes off of that table over there, I just wasn't sure what I should do. Where should I?
Honestly, you can do whatever you want, Danielle.
Are we wearing masks as we talk or no?
No,
Okay.
We just wore masks because, walking throughout. the
walking
building.
around the building. I take them off as soon as I
I'm
sit
taking it
down.
off right now then. I don't have to wear.
I'm gonna put the laptop on a chair.
Okay, need your help with the camera, okay?
What's that? Oh.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna wrap it around the table here, the legs. Okay, if I sit down like this, can you see me? Okay, let me tell you down. How's that? Okay, so, all right. So, well, there went my phone.
Hello? Anybody there?
I'm here.
Good. It was silent there. I heard the crickets.
Well, it's I guess the main feed they've muted, so
Okay. I'm going to step away for a minute. This is Ken.
James, are you there? Ken, have you returned? James, is that you that's unmuted? James, the audio is really, really low. You can barely hear it. That came up a little bit, but you probably could make it louder.
the sun and break on through. So you're blind, you'll be fine. We got good news. You can live the life you want. Yes, we know the truth. Grab a cane, get trained. Gotta get moving. Make a change in a wage. That's what we're doing. Come with me. Yeah. And live the life you want. Nobody can stop you. Shoot for the sun and break on through. So you're blind, you'll be fine. We got good news. You can live the life you want. Yes, we know the truth. You and me, NFB, let's dream together. NFB, you and me, lives on forever. You will see, yeah. You can live the life you want. Nobody can stop you. Shoot for the sun and break on through. So you're blind, you'll be fine. We got good news. You can live the life you want. Yes, we know the truth. You can live the life you want. Yes, we know the truth. Yeah, you know the truth. good. I knew that I wouldn't. I feel good. I knew that I wouldn't. So good, so good. I got you. Wow, I feel nice. A sugar and spice. I feel nice. A sugar and spice. So nice, so nice. I got you. When I hold you in my arms, I know that I can't do no wrong. And when I hold you in my arms, my love won't do you no harm. And I feel nice, that sugar and spice. I feel nice, that sugar and spice. So nice, so nice. I got you. When I hold you in my arms, I know that I can't do no wrong. And when I hold you in my arms, my love can't do me no harm. And I feel nice, I sugar and spice. I feel nice, like sugar and spice. So nice, so nice that I got you. Wow, I feel good. I knew that I wouldn't. I feel good. I knew that I would. So good, so good. But I got you. So good, so good. But I got you. So good, so good. But I got you. Hey! It's like a snake in the grass. One of these days you're gonna break your glass. Don't bring me down. No, 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 no. I'll tell you what's wrong before I get off the floor. Don't bring me down.
The 2020 National Convention of the Blind of Utah, National Federation of the Blind of Utah Annual State Convention is now in session. Welcome, everyone. I hope all of you are somewhere comfortable and somewhere where you are maybe in your fuzzy slippers or pajamas or in a suit like me. But whatever is more comfortable to you, I hope you are all in a great place, and I hope you're ready for a wonderful convention. We are coming to you live anywhere and everywhere. So we're hoping that if you're not on the Zoom link participating, then you are also on or maybe on YouTube and participating. So we hope that you are enjoying this in whichever format you're listening to it or viewing it. We are at the Division of Services for the Blind and Visually Impaired in Salt Lake City, Utah. So we are very grateful to the DSBVI for allowing us to use their space as an agenda or as a staging area. And we've got a lot of great things planned for you. I first want to get us going in the right direction with an invocation to start our meeting and our convention. That is the proper way we've always done here in Utah. So I've asked Ken Duke, our chapter president for the Salt Lake chapter, and one of our board members to give that invocation. Ken's been an outstanding individual and working in so many different areas for our affiliate, helping us with the virtual committee that's putting on this convention and helping us with so many other things. So Ken, when you're ready, if you will give us the invocation, please.
Yes, I want to make sure you can hear me. Everett, can you hear me?
We can hear you, Ken.
Thank you. Our Father in heaven, as we come before thee at the beginning of this day and this Utah State Convention, we are so grateful to be Federationist. We're so grateful to be part of the NFB Utah family and as well as the national family. We are grateful for all that thou hast given us and for this opportunity to meet the next couple days and obtain great knowledge and guidance from leaders of our organization and friends and family. We pray that thy spirit might be with them, that they can have great presentations and to be able to give their knowledge of the NFB and what it means to be a Federationist. Again, we are grateful for what we have and we pray that thy spirit will be with us throughout this convention. And we pray for these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you so much, Ken. Again, thank you. It's an honor to serve with you on our board of directors. And you'll be hearing from Ken later on in the convention. Again, welcome to all of you. Wherever you're listening, wherever you're participating, and I hope you really enjoyed this. One of the neat things about our annual state convention, which is virtual, is that every aspect of the running of the convention is done by members. Done by members who happen to be blind or have low vision. So I think that's really cool. Our virtual committee that has helped us put together this format is consisting of Barbie Elliott, James Bybee, Ken Duke, Jerry Neely, and Vern Jensen. And we hope that all of you are enjoying this and will continue to enjoy it. I'm so grateful to the 5 of them for the work they've done. We've also had many of our board members who are also helping host and put things together. So it's just it's a family that's put everything in place, from door prizes to auction items to the agenda to speaking, that I think you're going to really enjoy this convention, and you're going to have a lot of fun over the next 2 days. I mentioned before that, I hope that you're comfortable wherever you're listening. If you're looking at me, my hair's gotten a little bit longer. And I did cut it for this convention. It had really gotten a bit long, but it's everyone's kind of going through the same things. We wanted to be in person. We were hoping to be in person, as so many of the state conventions going on this year we're hoping to do. But we soldier on, and we come up with the next best thing as an affiliate. And so this is our virtual convention, and we hope you enjoy it. Danielle Frampton is our door prize chairperson, so we'll be having a lot of door prizes here very soon, and she's excited to give you out those door prizes. Our auction chairperson is Tara Purcell, and she has a committee of Stephanie Cordova and Danielle working with her, and Cameron Frampton, Danielle's husband, who will be the auctioneer tomorrow evening. So that'll be a lot of fun. And we have some great items that you're going to be excited about, and we'll be giving you a preview of the auction items tomorrow during the business session. So I'm going to lay out some things for you in a minute of the convention agenda and how it's going to work. But I first want to go into our national anthem and then our Pledge of Allegiance. So I'm really excited to have a finalist from America's Got Talent this local season, and a local native of Utah, and a daughter of one of our former board members, Brandy Dodds, and Chris Dodds, who is a Paralympic medalist and in goalball. We're so excited to have her be a part of our annual virtual convention to sing the national anthem. So we feel like we got a rock star, well, maybe a future country rock star, to sing this for you. So at this point, I'm going to introduce Kennedy Dodds to sing to us the national anthem. So if you will all please rise.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets like the light, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
My God, what a voice. That was amazing. Thank you so much, Kennedy. You have such a bright future, and I think you know that from the many accolades you've already received. We're so grateful to you and your family for being here, and hope that you enjoy whatever part of the convention you can enjoy for the rest of the time. And we're just so excited for you and what you're going to be doing in the future and how well you represent the great state of Utah. So thank you, Kennedy. Thank you so much. James, do you have some applause? Okay. I am unsure if our next presenter or part of our agenda is here just yet. I have been told that Nathan Ostergaard is not here just yet. He is part of our, he's president of the Blind Veterans Association here in Utah. He's a retired second petty officer and from the Army. He's also a good friend and a former board member, but I haven't seen him appear yet to give us our Pledge of Allegiance. So I'm going to move a little forward, and we may go back to that once he is able to get on. So that's what happens when you do a virtual convention. Sometimes you got to vamp, and we've already started. So we'll move forward to our NFB pledge. And I've asked Jerry Neely, our vice president of the Weber Davis chapter, our registrar for this wonderful convention. Jerry also manages our affiliate email list. So all of the many emails you see going out on a regular basis, Jerry manages this for us and does a wonderful job. And so, Jerry, I'm going to go ahead and pass the time to you to give us our NFB pledge.
Thank you, Everett. I appreciate this opportunity. I have asked one of our Bell participants who is in Las Vegas right now to read it in Braille, but there are too many people in this call and I can't find them. So I don't, Willie, I don't know if you see Grant Christensen in the list. If you can ask them to unmute, we could just take a second to see if he's here. I thought I saw him come in earlier.
He is here and he's unmuted now.
Okay, super. So I would love to turn it over to Grant to read that pledge for us all the way from Las Vegas.
I pledge to participate actively in the efforts of the National Federation of the Blind to achieve equality, opportunity, and security for the blind, to support the policies and programs of the Federation, and to abide by its constitution.
Thank you, Grant.
Thank you so much, Grant, and thank you, Jerry. It's really neat to hear one of our Bell graduates read the NFB pledge. So thank you, Grant, and hope you're enjoying Las Vegas with your family. And it's wonderful to have you participate in our convention. I have been told that our national representative, Anil Lewis, has joined the convention. And so I'm giving him a big welcome, as I know he is here and we'll be hearing from him in a little bit. I'm going to take a few minutes now to kind of go over the agenda and give you some highlights and things that we think you're going to really want to be a part of. But I'm going to throw a monkey wrench and ask Danielle to give us our first door prize of the day. So Danielle, when you're ready, if you'll give us the door prize and tell people how they should let you know they're here.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Everett. So I have a spinner here that I specially made all these Braille names here. So I'm going to bring it in front of the camera. So who is the lucky winner for this? I'm going to pick 3 door names or door prize names, and hopefully you're the lucky winner. And I'll tell you what you're going to get. You're going to get a gift bag with many fun items. There's going to be some candy. We have some cash, and we have some things that people have put together, like white bees, packages that have all different types of things that keep you safe during this time. So let's do this. Cross your fingers. Okay, I'm gonna open the door. Okay. First name I pull out is going to be Maria Reverio. Congratulations, Maria. That's one of our students. Can't believe that. Okay.
Hello, I'd just like to say that Maria is on our Spanish line, so she is here.
All right, Maria. Thank you for letting us know that. Okay, and then we are going to go with Walter Elliott. All right, go Walter.
Excuse me, Danielle.
Yes.
Do you want to tell people how they need to let you know?
Oh, yes. And I was going to do that right at the end after I was going to read all the names. Rachel Condi, Condie. So those 3 names. So the way you would get a hold of me is either one, you can text Everett, or you can text my cell phone at area code 253-569-3397. Again, 253-569-3397. And that's to let me know that you are available. So we know Maria's here. And I'm pretty sure Walter is with Barbie Elliott. So but he can still text me if he wants. And then Rebecca Condi. Rachel, sorry. I was going by trying to remember. So that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Danielle. So again, I hope you got Danielle's number. I will have her say that over and over and over again each time she gives away door prizes. So you'll know how to get a hold of her. You can just send her a text. If you didn't get her number and you want to send me a text, that would work as well. And we will make sure that you get your door prize. We will be either delivering the door prizes as best we can in person next week over the next couple of weeks, or we will ship them to you if it's too far for us to get them delivered to you. So be aware of that and know that that's how we will get them to you after the convention is over. So pretty exciting. We have a lot of great door prizes, and I know Danielle's itching to give many of them away. So I want to go over some of the agenda items for you, just because this is an exciting convention with a lot of great speakers. Just in a few moments, we will have a recorded message from the Salt Lake City Mayor, Erin Mendenhall. She was gracious enough to give us a recorded message. After that, we will be hearing from our national representative, Anil Lewis. After that, we will be hearing from Steve Wynn, the director of the Division of Services for the Blind, Visually Impaired. We also, after that, will be hearing from Ryan Bowdwin, one of our Salt Lake City chapter members and a candidate for the legislature here in Utah, District 42. He is hoping to represent and is running for office in. And we'll be hearing from Ryan. After that, we will be hearing from the wonderful director of the Library for the Blind and Print Disabled here in Utah, Lisa Nelson. And then after that, Dr. Charissa Aldridge from the Utah Transit Authority. We will also be hearing from the Lieutenant Governor, Spencer Cox, who has also sent us a recorded message that I've listened to, and I think it's outstanding, and I think you're going to really enjoy what he has to say. And after that, we will be having our Bell program. Wendy Bybee is the coordinator of our Bell program speak. Then we will have the new principal of the Utah Schools for the Deaf and the Blind on the blind sign, the new blind principal, Susan Patton, speak. And then after that, our first vice president and coordinator of our Project Strive program, Sherilyn Creer, will close us out throughout the day. So that's kind of our opening general session here on Friday. That will take us all the way till noon. After that, we'll take a 2-hour break, and then we'll be starting up with our different sessions. And rather than at a live convention when we're all in person, we kind of force you, we have so much going on, we kind of force you all to choose what you want to attend and what you should attend and things like that. Because we usually have 3 or 4 different sessions going on at a time. And we thought to make it more fun for everyone and to make it a little easier so you wouldn't have to choose, we would just do one session each time, and you could then go to that session, get to participate in it because maybe you've never participated in before, and see how it is, and see what our different divisions and committees are doing. So the first one that will start up at 2 p.m. is our resolutions committee. Carl Smith is the chair of that committee. And we have, I think, 8 members of the resolutions committee that will all be there, and you'll get to hear. Resolutions are the policy of the National Federation of the Blind of Utah, and so you'll get to hear how those resolutions are made, the proponents of them, and it'll be a neat session for you to participate in and listen to. After that, one of our sponsors of our annual state convention each year is Vanda Pharmaceuticals. So Vanda Pharmaceuticals will be giving us a 30-minute presentation on the great things that they have with Non-24 and other pharmaceutical medicines that they have. After that, we will be going to our student division. So I'm excited to see what the student division has. They're going to have a lot of fun things planned. After that, our parents division, parents of blind children and just parents will be participating and talking about all kinds of different things related to IEPs, learning Braille as a young student who maybe has partial vision, and all kinds of other things to participate in. And then after our parents division, we will have Anil Lewis. Anil Lewis will have a NFB philosophy and getting to know him a little bit. So we'll have a great session with Anil. You can ask Anil any kind of question, and he'll be able to answer that for you. And then after that, we have an outstanding talent show that is sponsored by Project Strive. Sherilyn Creer, Barbie Elliott, Willie Black, and so many others have put together an outstanding talent show that'll be fun. So we hope that you'll participate in that and really enjoy that. And that'll take us to close us out for our evening on Friday. Tomorrow morning, we will start right up at 9 a.m. sharp, and we will have many different speakers. We will have the presentation of our scholarship finalists, and we will have some different speeches from Federation members, chapter leaders, division leaders, and so much more. So please be on tomorrow as well. From 9 a.m. to noon, you'll hear some great speeches that are going to very much inspire you. And in the afternoon tomorrow, from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. will be our business session. We will have a treasurer's report. We will have elections. We will have resolutions and your opportunity to vote on those resolutions. And then hopefully we'll have enough time to do a preview of the auction for the evening. Then we'll take a break around 4:30 at the latest. And then our goal is to start back up again at 6:30 p.m. So hopefully you'll have time to eat a bite of dinner or get your dinner ready. again, nobody's going to be judging you if you're wearing fuzzy slippers and pajamas, so you don't have to be in a suit like some of us. But it's the banquet. If you want to get dressed up, though, we'd love for you to get dressed up. And we will have our virtual banquet where our keynote address will be given by Anil Lewis again. And we will also have the presentation of our scholarship awards by our scholarship chairperson, Marnie West. And then we will go into our live auction. So it's a lot of fun. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be a busy 2 days, but we've put a lot of breaks in. So we hope you'll take that opportunity to go walk around the house or the neighborhood when it's a break time and get your sea legs back, and then come back again for what's going to be an exciting convention all the way through. My understanding is that Nathan Ostergaard, president of our Blind Veterans Association, is here. So I would like to send it over to Nathan Ostergaard to deliver our Pledge of Allegiance. So Nathan, if you will take that away. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, President. Apologize for the technical difficulties. If everyone will please rise if you are not already, and repeat with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, and with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Nate. It's a real honor to have you here. The Blind Veterans Association are friends to the National Federation of the Blind of Utah. We lost one of the most active members of the Blind Veterans Association this past year. Jim Huber was a longtime leader of the Blind Veterans Association and attended many of the National Federation of the Blind of Utah conventions. And he passed away earlier this year. I went to a memorial service for him, and Nate was there with me. And it was before the pandemic hit, but it was an honor to see the camaraderie and the friendship of so many veterans that were there, some blind, some not, and the great role that they have served in our military. So we love and respect the Blind Veterans Association. They're our friends. And so thank you, Nate, and thank you for being here. All right, I'm going to move on to the presentation by our Salt Lake City Mayor, Aaron Mendenhall. I got to know Aaron Mendenhall through my role on the Salt Lake City Council for the Mayor's Accessibility Council. I've been a member of that now for about 4 years, and I got on there when Mayor Jackie Biskupski was first was mayor at the time, and now Mayor Mendenhall, and have been serving in that role. I'm excited about the direction that she is taking our city, and the work that she's had to do. Obviously, the pandemic has been an odd year, and so it's taken things very differently than she ever thought, or any of us ever thought. But I'm really excited to have you hear what she has to say. And so, James, if you'll go ahead and share the screen.
We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. Built this city. We built this city on rock and roll.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for inviting me to be with you this morning at the 63rd Annual State Convention of the National Federation of the Blind of Utah. Thank you to the organizers of this event for reaching out to Sarah Benj, Salt Lake City's ADA coordinator on my staff, with this opportunity to speak to you. I hope you'll continue to work with her and my office with ideas or concerns going forward. Salt Lake City has benefited greatly from your organization's perspective in the past, and I hope that we can build upon that relationship for the future. In Salt Lake City, we are committed to equal access for persons with disabilities, especially as it relates to blindness and low vision. I know plenty of unnecessary barriers to fully participating in public spheres remain, including physical and technological barriers, but we know that making our city an equitable, inclusive space is non-negotiable. You don't need me to tell you that the COVID-19 pandemic has been especially challenging for people with disabilities, but I want you to know that at the city, we keep that top of mind. While some of the public and private response, like more options for food and grocery delivery and curbside service, has been helpful and long overdue, there have also been hurdles, like last-minute changes to public transportation schedules, and our physical government offices being closed for several months now. I know that at the very least, it's added another layer to the mental load so many of our residents carry when it comes to navigating already complex systems. Earlier this year, we celebrated the 30th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act. It was a wonderful and important milestone. It's hard to believe that it's only been 30 years since some of these necessary protections have been in place. How much talent and creativity and diversity of thought and experience have been absent from our public spheres because the protections weren't taken seriously. I don't want that to happen any more than it already has in Salt Lake City. One exciting effort that we are planning to continue that is specifically helpful for blindness and low vision is the city's contract with IRA. IRA's visual interpretation service is offered free when visiting the City and County Building, Washington Square Park, Salt Lake Public Library, and the Public Safety Building. From the feedback we've received, this has been an important offering that's improved access to essential government services, and we're committed to renewing that contract come December. As you all know, though, accessibility for the pragmatic tasks typically undertaken at City Hall, like planning commission meetings or business license applications, aren't the only areas where accessibility is essential. Accessibility is essential for things like art, because art is an essential part of the human experience. That's why audio description is so important for musicals and other performing arts, and I'm glad that this is at the forefront for the county's arts facilities. Typically, for large, nationally touring performances, audio description is automatically included, and all a person needs to do is verify which dates and times it's provided. But I'm also happy to know that for smaller performances, even the more local ones with shorter runs, those requisites are accommodated with a bit of advance notice. At the city, we've also made a big push across our websites and social media channels to include alt text with our images. Captioning of all videos has really become a standard in today's world, primarily for those who are deaf and hard of hearing, and it's likewise critical that we include descriptions for all of our images, so no pieces of the information we share are unavailable. I know we're not 100% on this, and it's really important to me that we continue to improve citywide. It's not your job or responsibility, but if you ever have a suggestion for how we can better serve all communities, please reach out. I had some really big things planned for 2020, and while some of them have changed due to the pandemic, we're still moving forward with many of the projects that I think will be of interest. Our transportation division has been developing a typologies guide, which will help us create streets that are designed better for everyone, with a particular focus on personal mobility. We're actively working to expand the number of bus stop shelters and benches, as well as working with UTA to expand the city's rapid transit network. So many of our residents rely on public transportation, and it's imperative that we expand and improve the experience for everyone. But that's the thing about accessibility and inclusion, isn't it? You add a ramp to a curb to make it easier for those who use mobility aids to get around, and you end up also helping a young parent pushing a stroller or someone who pulled a leg muscle playing basketball. Designing and rethinking our city with diversity, accessibility, and inclusion in mind makes it a better place to live for everyone. Thank you for having me today. I'm grateful to have been included today, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your conference.
I hope you all enjoyed the message from Mayor Mendenhall. It is an honor to have her speak at our convention. Even if it is a recorded message, it was an honor for her to take the time to put that together for us. She mentioned Sarah Binge, who chairs the Mayor's Advisory Committee on Accessibility. And so I am grateful to her as well for helping put this together, this recorded message from our mayor. And so I hope you enjoyed that. Danielle, I think we need a door prize. What do you think? Okay. Well, we'll go back. Danielle says she's not ready, so we'll be there in just a minute. She'll get me, though, when she's ready. I want to give a shout out to our Spanish division. Our Spanish division is also streaming this not streaming this convention, but has a separate Zoom link where the entire convention is being translated in Spanish. Laura Vincent, who is over our Spanish division, has coordinated this effort. And so I know we have some folks on the Spanish division. So gracias to all of you. And we hope that you enjoy the convention as well. Danielle told me she's ready. So let's go have a door prize from Danielle.
Everett. All right. How's it going, everybody? All right. I'm going to give you my number again, just so you can get prepared early. So it's going to be area code 253-569-3397. I'll give it to you at the end also. So let's do a little spinner here and see what we got, who we can pull out again. Okay, I'm gonna open the door. Sticking my hand in there. I'm actually gonna rustle it up a little bit just to make sure it's even mixed up even more. All right, I'm gonna pull out 3 names. I'm not looking. Okay. All right, we have first name is going to be Katie Nelson. Second name is going to be Valentino, Valentino. Valentino Urigue. I can't say that. Jury. I want to make sure. I hate to be one of those people that just messes up a name. So last but not least, we have a Jenny Porter. So that's 3 names there. So Jenny Porter, Valentino, and Katie Nelson. Please text me at 253-569-3397. And let me tell you, I'm going to show you some of these door prizes really quick. So this was actually made by some of our members who donated this. This has a water bottle, has a whole bunch of snacks in it. And then I also have these awesome Delterra. They're very nice. You can use these for essential oils. There's a variety pack. There's 3 of them in here. So I'm going to put a little kit together for those who won those door prizes. So thank you so much, Everett.
Thank you, Danielle. I think that those water bottles, Danielle, those were given to us by Kaiser and his wife, right? From the Weber Davis chapter. Yes. So pretty exciting. Those water bottle packets are really neat because they have a lot of neat things in them. Kaiser's wife works for JetBlue and was able to collect all of these wonderful door prizes for us. So there's some neat items in there. doTERRA, those were donated by David Sarl from his massage therapy business. So those are some nice oils that we hope that you enjoy as well. We have a lot of other great door prizes that you'll be getting a chance to see and hopefully win as we move on. Moving on the agenda, it's a pleasure to have this individual here. He's been not only a mentor to me, I've learned so much from him about blindness, about the different aspects of blindness and the different aspects of discrimination, the different aspects of challenges that the blind face, and the different aspects of the victories that we've won. I've learned from this man. I also can say that he is a wonderful friend. I have many memories of being with Anil Lewis and his bright laugh that warms the room. It's infectious. But my most fondest memory is about 2018. I was there for a national board members meeting, and I had to stay after the board meeting was over. I had to stay another 2 days because I had an FCC advisory committee meeting that was happening a couple days later, and the Baltimore Ravens were in town, and I really wanted to go to a Baltimore Ravens football game. And I needed a friend to go with me. And Anil Lewis volunteered to be that friend. And we sat out in, I think it was late, maybe high 30s, low 40s degree weather. So it was kind of cold, kind of chilly. But he sat out there with me. We had hot chocolate. And we watched the Baltimore Ravens beat the Miami Dolphins, which was a lot of fun. And we had a blast together. And that's just the kind of friend Anil is. I've really come to respect him, admire him, and care about him tremendously. So it's an honor to have Anil here to be our national representative and give us our national report. So, Mr. Anil Lewis, please take it away, and thank you.
You should be able to unmute me.
All right, there we go. You guys are being so overly restrictive. I tell you, you didn't want me to Zoom bomb in the middle of all the other fun stuff that you had started. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, we hear you loud and
Okay,
clear.
excellent, great, thanks you. Everett, I'm glad you reminded me about that. But I'm a Georgia boy, so that football game for me, you know, it may have been 30s or 40s, but it felt like below zero. But yeah, it was a good event, great game, crazy crowd, a lot of fun. It is indeed my pleasure to be here representing the president of the National Federation of the Blind for my Utah family. I wish I could be there in person. I really was looking forward to coming and breaking bread with all of you. And hopefully someday soon, we'll all get that opportunity to be in the same space with one another, because I think that's just so important. So I have the responsibility of giving you guys a national report, which should consist of so much information that it would take all day to give it to you. So I'm going to try to do it in a way that is not too fast for the interpreters and doesn't take up too much time, so that I can get as much information shared with you as possible. It is indeed my pleasure to be here. I'm sure President Riccobono would love to be here. He is currently being the national rep at our Indiana State Convention. There's so many that are going on simultaneously through the fall. Many of our spring conventions were pushed back to the fall. So it's really an exciting time. And it's really kind of an interesting experience to learn what we can do in this new virtual environment and how we can continue to allow blind people to live the lives they want, despite the social distancing and all the other factors that have come into play. President Riccobono is more than the president of this organization. He's the chief executive officer of our national office here in Baltimore, and I proudly serve as the executive director of blindness initiatives in that whole corporate structure that we all own here in Baltimore, the whole city block, which is the National Federation of the Blind Jernigan Institute. But he's even more than that. President Rick Abono is my friend. He's a brother, much like Everett. Everett, come to know him very early on, and as he stated, we've kind of established a very strong bond. Met President Rick Abono back in 1999. We both came here at the National Center when Dr. Maurer was still president. We participated in the leadership seminar. It was just something that just clicked. You know, you probably have those experiences with people in your life that you only need to meet or interact with for just a little bit of time, and then you realize that this is going to be a lifelong friendship. And my only regret is that each and every one of you can't have that opportunity to establish the same friendship. But President Rick Abono tries as best he can to keep an open door, open phone policy. So I do encourage you that if you do want to try to reach out to him, you will find him very open and very welcoming. I wish I could spend all this time telling you why the National Federation of the Blind is so important to me. You know, I came in way too late, and I'm pretty sure many individuals share that. I went blind in 1989. Maybe I'll share a little bit more about that during the banquet speech, but I didn't find a really get active in the Federation until 1999. So it's 10 years later, living my life 10 years as a blind person without the Federation. And it's so unfortunate that I didn't know. Luckily for me, I was able to benefit from the work that the Federation had done and continued to do. But there's some benefit, a significant benefit to being immersed in the organization in a way that allows you to not only receive the benefits of what we do, but also participate in creating the systemic change that the organization does. During this coronavirus, this COVID-19 experience, I love President Rick Abono's frame of reference. He calls it connecting and protecting. So he continues to use the organization as a conduit to continue to connect blind people as we all work together to protect one another in this uncertain environment. So hopefully some of that will come out in what we're seeing here, how we're connecting and protecting our members. For those of you who don't know the organization, I encourage you to research it, read some of our banquet speeches, and you'll find that we have a rich tradition and a history of being of blind people for blind people in a way that's necessary and unique. We all make sure that our leaders are blind because we want to make sure that our efforts reflect the authentic lived experience of blind people. It was formed by Dr. Jacobus Tenbrook in 1940, and he recognized that many of the systems and services in place were done for blind people in a way that was more custodial than empowering. So he decided that it needed to be an organization of blind people to really direct our own destinies. So those of you who become members of the Federation recognize that and recognize the power that we have to create change in this world. And those of you who are just dipping your toe in the water through this experience or others, maybe participating in a chapter meeting, will soon come to realize that this is the place that you need to be. Want to remind everybody in this current climate, it's time to get out and vote. November 3rd is the day of the election, and we want to encourage you all to get out and cast your ballot. Recognizing that blind people are fully participating members in this society, one of the most important responsibilities we all have is to exercise that right, to make sure that we can establish a governing body and an administration that allows us to be able to speak to them in a way that gives us voice to creating policies that will help assist blind people live the lives we want. So get out and vote in whatever manner you want. We have been advocating to make sure that there's an accessible voting experience, whether it be at the poll, through the mail-in ballot or others. Please take advantage of this time to practice or engage in that civic responsibility. If you need some information about some of the election stuff, I want to offer that our NFB Newsline, which is the service that allows us to reach over or access over 500 newspapers, magazines, and other publications, also has election information. I believe you have a presentation on the agenda. Someone's going to talk about Newsline, so I won't spend a whole lot of time with that. Meet the Blind Month, we're in it. October, the National Federation of the Blind considers Meet the Blind Month. And we're hoping that everyone in our Utah affiliate and really in our organization across the country is taking advantage of this opportunity to make sure that people who otherwise would not be exposed to blind people, not understand the capacity that we have to be fully participating members of society, find some creative ways to interact with those individuals, because that's what really helps us get rid of the myths and misconceptions about blindness. People who are left to their own design to try to determine whether a blind person can or cannot do something, that's a flawed experience from the start. If they don't recognize that they need to actually engage with individuals who are successful, who've learned those alternative skills of blindness to make themselves independent, and really truly interdependent, because that's only by us being able to do what we can do and then contributing to the overall benefit of society that we can all benefit one another. So in the Meet the Blind Month, look for those opportunities to educate and dismiss some of those public misperceptions about blindness and the capacity of blind people. The theme that we're using for our Meet the Blind Month in your engagement is lived experience with problem solving, self-confidence, and intersectionality, which the self-confidence is core to who we are. Intersectionality is even more important in the days that we live today. Finding out that we are a sum of all of our characteristics, whether it be race, ethnicity, religious beliefs, sexual orientation, any of those things. We all are the sum of all those various characteristics, and we as a society are better when we embrace each and every one of those individual characteristics. If you want to participate on social media, please use the hashtag #MeetTheBlind. So create a lot of activity around that. Let's blow it up. Let's make that particular hashtag trend. If you want more information about the organization to help you decide what you'd like to try to put together, there's lots of resources on our site. And if you do engage in something that you want us to socialize from the national level, please email information to web@nfb.org. And also, it's not too late if you want to get some alphabet cards or some other information that you may want to share with your communities. Please reach out to our Independence Market, which is a small retail space that we have here at the Jernigan Institute that has small items that blind people need, from canes to games to Braille accessories. But we also have informational tools that you can use to share the good word of the National Federation of the Blind. So I want you guys to also recognize that our national president tries his best to continue to communicate with us as an organization in a lot of dynamic ways. And one of the ways that's kind of emerging is our presidential release live. So every month at the first of the month, President Rick Bono will go live using this virtual platform to make sure that we can give our members the most up-to-date information that we have around the work that we're doing, but also give our members an opportunity to interact virtually with President Rick Bono. So there's a Q&A section that allows people to offer questions for him to answer. And it really is kind of a comfortable, almost town hall feel for interacting with President Rick Bono. And it's nice to have that two-way dimension, whereas it used to be just a distribution of the information was the only channel. So I encourage you at the first of the month, be ready to participate in our presidential release live. So I have a couple of general things, and then I'm going to move into the broader categories of the work that we're doing. I've been told that the 2021 Braille calendars are available, and this is one of the many collaborations that we have with the American Action Fund for Blind Children and Adults. So if you want those, please reach out to Action Fund, www.actionfund.org. Our Braille Readers Are Leaders contest will be starting in December, so visit the Action Fund site for that information. And we want you guys, it's a competition of sorts, but it's really just to encourage people to continue to practice their Braille skills, whether it be leisure reading, et cetera, just to make sure that Braille remains an effective tool for literacy in the lives of blind people. So it starts December 1st and goes through January 18th. Now, I don't know how many of you were able to attend the 2019 National Convention of the National Federation of the Blind anywhere and everywhere. I mean, it was outstanding. I have to admit, I was a little apprehensive about how we're going to convert our traditional in-person conference into something that would really be a substantive and impactful to blind people in a virtual environment. We usually get anywhere from 3,000 to 3,500 blind people in our hotels during our convention. We touched at least 10,000 blind people in the week that we had our convention. And I think that coming out of COVID, once we're back in play with our national convention in place, I'm sure that we'll still augment it with a virtual component that allows us to still have that impact. Speaking of once we're back in play, I don't know about you, but I'm really hoping that we're at a place where in 2021, we're able to be back in person at our conventions, because it's going to be held in New Orleans. And I just want to go to the New Orleans location. I went there as part of my training in the Louisiana Center for the Blind. I will never, ever go back to Mardi Gras, but I do encourage everyone to experience it once. There is a life experience that you need to have done in your bucket list. But I do want to go back to the city of New Orleans, great jazz, just a really nice, outstanding social environment. So hopefully you can join us for our national convention in 2021. Let me see, I have the dates here. July 6th through July 11th. Now, there's the Kenneth Jernigan Convention scholarships that are available. So if any of you are listening and you're thinking that you would love to participate in our national convention, I want you to recognize that, yeah, if you really want to do it and you need some funds to help, we offer the Kenneth Jernigan Convention Scholarship. That's for first-time convention attendees. You just need to contact your affiliate president and let him know that you're interested, and he'll set a criteria for you to be considered. It usually requires some type of small essay that lets us know what you want to do and why you want to do it. The NFB National Scholarship applications will be going live in November. We offer 30 scholarships to blind students across the country every year. More information about that can be obtained from the resources that I'll tell you about later. In addition to that, we'll be awarding recognition to individuals who come up with creative ideas to move the needle around blindness and independence through our Dr. Jacob Balatin Awards. One of the things that President Riccobono would like me to focus on really quickly is we need to continue to focus on building our membership. One of the things that I really recognize, and I already admitted earlier, it took me 10 years to find the Federation. We as an organization who really impact the lives of blind people, we as members know the power of it. And it's selfish for us not to share it with other blind people. If you want to come back later this evening and have that open-ended question, I'll tell you about the dilemma that I had with respect to accepting that invitation. But yet we still need to be offering that invitation to many people. So some of the membership stuff that we're doing include that we're focusing on our commitment to diversity and inclusion. We want to make sure that individuals who thought that the Federation was not welcoming for whatever reason recognize that we are, and we value that full participation of every member. For those of you who need some assistance or want to have some information around what strategies you can use to be more welcoming, Rosie Carranza and Sean Calloway are chairing our diversity committee, and they're proactively working to make sure that they're communicating the right message and helping our members understand how they can also introduce a strategy for inclusion. Our membership committee has monthly meetings to help you. You can find out more information about those particular meetings by writing membership@nfb.org, and I'm sure our membership committee can provide you with information if you'd like to participate. There is a prospective new member form that our chapter presidents were encouraging you to, once you find someone who's interested, fill that out. And we have a whole systemic way of onboarding them so that they feel welcome in the organization. And we also have the pledge cards in Braille and large print. On one side, that's the NFB pledge. On the other side, our 1-minute message. And we think those are important tools to get people to understand what they're actually going to be buying into as members of this organization. We encourage all of our chapter presidents to continue to update your chapter membership list. I know that we try to focus on doing that at least annually, but there's no reason that you can't continue to perpetually provide information to the National Center about who are active members within your chapter. Again, any questions you have, any information you need to provide, please write membership@nfb.org. We also have public service announcements to increase membership. If you visit nfb.org/PSAs, that's plural, you can get access to those. We've already circulated some to radio stations, but your personal relationship with your local stations may allow more access to our PSAs. So I want to talk really quickly about our legal issues. I know that a lot of people recognize that we have strength in litigation, but that's not our sole means for creating systemic change. As a matter of fact, our legal advocacy really has to be more strategic because there's so many issues out there to litigate than we have funding to support. So President Riccobono systemically looks at issues that are going to change public policy or change existing statute so that we can make sure that this one case that we may be supporting is really going to create a change in many cases and many opportunities for blind people moving forward. So I encourage you, if you want more information about our legal strategies and the things that are going on in our legal space, please go to nfb.org/legal. We try to be as transparent as possible about what we're doing. And we also have some items there that encourage you to participate by providing information through surveys, et cetera. So if you go again to nfb.org/legal, you can hear information about our successes in our voting advocacy. Again, we've been making sure that there's accessible voting around for blind people. You'll hear about our successes in employment discrimination. Most recently, a success in a suit against Amazon around employment discrimination. Our successes in creating the mandate for the IRS to provide Braille electronic format to information that we as taxpayers need to have in order to make sure we fulfill our responsibility as taxpayers. We're also looking for your proactive participation in efforts. So if you have applied for a job at an Amazon fulfillment center and you've had some problems with that, please reach out. If you are a web developer and you're trying to use the GoDaddy suite of tools to create your website, we recognize that they don't allow individuals very readily to create accessible websites. So if you're using or want to use that particular tool to produce websites, please reach out. If you're looking to use job search tools like Indeed and Monster, et cetera, and we've done some really good work with some of these, but if you're having problems with that accessibility, please reach out as well. We're in the telehealth space. I just recently went to the doctor the other day and I didn't have to go to the doctor. It was through to Zoom. I don't think it was Zoom, some video visit, and I was able to do all those things, and I was able to get all my medical responses digitally, et cetera. So we want to make sure that blind people can take advantage of the means by which we're all evolving and accessing information. We have open surveys that, again, even if you're not having any of these issues, providing information to answer these surveys also helps us kind of craft our legal strategy. So if you're having problems with unemployment benefits or have some information you'd like to provide around that, please visit the legal site. Uber and Lyft, our service animal surveys, are still live. We're doing some tremendous work to address the K through 12 accessible education experience. And we also are interested in individuals who are having accessibility problems in any type of travel. So I would usually skip this because I'm the director of blindness initiatives at the NFB, and John Perret is our executive director of advocacy and policy, but he's not here. So usually I'd skip right over his little section, but I'll go ahead and give you guys a sample of what we're doing in our advocacy and policy space. So if you want information around any of these, please visit nfb.org/advocacy, and you'll hear information about our model parental rights legislation. Luckily, Utah really doesn't need to hear much about it because you guys are one of the many states that have passed local parental rights legislation. Good for you. We have information about our self-advocacy and higher education toolkit, trying to make sure that the students become their best advocate in that post-secondary school environment. That tool is there. The issues that we formally usually talk about are on there as well. And any of you who participated in our Washington seminar know the power of the National Federation of the Blind in Washington, D.C. This year, I think we're already in the midst of planning a virtual experience to that Washington, D.C. experience. Usually we have 500 of our members that sacrifice their time to come to D.C. and march through the halls of Congress. This year, we're going to be doing it virtually. So I would imagine, much like our national convention, we may have exponential participation in that event. But the issues that we'll be discussing coming up are our Access Technology Affordability Act, trying to make sure that we can get tax credits for the expense that it is to be blind, all the access technology we have to purchase in order to remain competitive in the world, costs a little more, and no one else has to have that expense. So at least give us an opportunity to get a tax credit for it. Sammy's Law is really working on accessibility and safety in the area of ride sharing, and that law is passed in the House and it's now over on the Senate side. We're looking at greater access and independence through non-visual technology. That's something that we're always trying to make sure that the mainstream devices also have accessibility built in so that it will reduce the amount of effort that blind people have to have. We shouldn't have to buy an appendage or an additional piece of something just in order to get equal access to devices. Accessible instructional materials in higher education, that's what we'll continue to work on. There's no reason that post-secondary students should have the inability to access the tools that are going to allow them to learn and eventually be competitive with their sighted peers. The Transformation to Competitive Employment Act, that's been something that's been on my heart ever since, well, really for longer, but it was one of the major issues I dealt with. It was called fair wages when I was on the advocacy and policy team. And we are making significant progress in that, and we just need to carry that over the finish line. So the areas that I'm responsible for are everything from education, employment, access technology, and the research that the Federation is doing. That's why we created the National Federation of the Blind Learning Institute, to make sure that blind people were in control of these particular areas. We're developing innovative ways of educating our blind students, innovative ways of creating employment opportunities, making sure that the research being conducted around blindness is authentic and real, and that access technology is really part of the mainstream of what we're doing. So some of the things, and I'll go very quickly through just a few of them, is we are doing a lot around STEM. We are offering, and many of these have gone virtual, our STEM to You. So we've done STEM projects from our Youth Slam. If you don't know anything about that, tune in later this evening, maybe we can talk about it. But we want to make sure that blind students also have the skills and the learning so that they can be competitive in these areas as well. So the STEM to You, we're going to be virtually sending STEM to You kits out to students, and we're going to be providing virtual learning opportunities for them to learn a lot about science, technology, engineering, mathematics. You can visit our nfb.org webpage and get more information about all of the programs I'm going to talk about now. We have a grant through the National Science Foundation that also is teaching kids about engineering through our NFBEQ programs. I want to thank GM for supporting our STEM to You program. I want to thank Wells Fargo for supporting what I'm going to talk about now. Our Bell program, Braille Enrichment Literacy Through Learning, has really been a keystone with respect to shifting the education for blind students. The lack of Braille instruction for our blind students has been just abysmal. It's created not opportunities, but it's set a pathway for blind individuals to just be public beneficiaries. Without Braille, so many blind people are not able to reach the level of potential and competence and success that they can with Braille. School systems, unfortunately, aren't doing a great job of teaching it. So we implemented our Bell program, our Bell Academies rather, to make sure that professionals who believe in the efficacy of Braille are engaging with the students and the parents so that they can recognize the importance. And in that 2-week period, we're not going to teach them the full Braille code and make them extremely literate, but we will eliminate those misconceptions and hopefully get them empowered so they can go back and work with us to advocate within that school system to make sure that Braille is provided as part of their mainstream curriculum. We have a lot of early childhood initiatives. So we teach our parents to set high expectations of literacy for their kids. And in doing that, we offer our Braille Reading Pals, which is a print Braille book, which allows a sighted parent to read the print and the blind child to read the Braille. I, just to let you know, read the Braille to my sighted son, who read the print, and he was able to read at age 2. Of course, it wasn't Tale of Two Cities, but he was sounding out words and pronouncing them. And we want to make sure that our blind kids have the same opportunity to become literate. We also have an Early Explorers program. And these are programs you should be telling individuals in the general public, maybe sharing within our Meet the Blind Month to let them know that they're out there for them. Our Early Explorers program provides canes and information to parents so that they can be their child's first travel instructor. Again, more about that on the web. And I want to appreciate the Action Fund for being great partners in developing and promoting those particular opportunities. We also support the National Reading Media Assessment, which helps blind individuals recognize they should be dual media readers. Too many times the school system says you have enough sight to read print, but due to fatigue and due to the shrinking print as you advance academically, we recognize that sight can be used as a benefit, but also Braille would be an additional tool in the toolbox for individuals who may experience problems trying to use that residual vision. We're working on developing and reinstituting our Teacher of Tomorrow program because we recognize that one of the things that we really need to do is get our teachers to believe in the philosophy of the Federation, set high expectations for blind individuals. So we're going to create those teachers of tomorrow, those individuals who need to be fostering or supporting educational environments that set high expectations for our blind children. We also have launched our career mentoring program, and currently it's in Maryland, Nebraska, and Mississippi. Utah, again, is an exemplary state. You already continue to build on the mentoring program that we all started back in the early 2000s. And I'm sure you're already having a tremendous impact that we want you to have on those transition age youth. But again, the national office through our career mentoring program would also like to help by sharing any resources and support. Through our Center of Excellence in Non-Visual Access, we promote accessibility to tools that blind people use every day. And we have so many tools that we can use that would be a whole presentation in itself, but I'd like to highlight just a couple. We have our blind users innovating and leading design process. Many times, many entities out there are using the Federation as resources, but not really compensating our members. So I encourage you to go to our Build website, register to be a Build member. And what happens is when entities reach out to us and they want blind individuals to test products, services, or websites, we make sure that they're compensated for that work. And don't be dismayed. We also benefit from those who are novice, intermediate, and expert. So you don't have to be a technology expert. In many instances, the novice users also add information to our partners that help them with not only accessibility, but also usability. We just presented a train-the-trainer conference for individuals who train blind people how to use access technology. We just completed an inclusive publishing conference, which helps individuals make sure that they're creating information that's now being called born accessible. So it's accessible from the start. And we have an accessibility switchboard, which you can visit at accessibilityswitchboard.org, which is an onboarding tool to teach people about accessibility in a small way. And here, we have other issues that I could deal with, but I want to be respectful of the time. So let me talk about what's important. All of those things are important, but what's even more important is our ability to really push those programs and projects out to the mainstream, out to the whole world, relies on our ability to raise money to fund our organization. Doing our outreach and development is important, and it's responsibility of each member to do fundraising. Coordinating our national effort is Ms. Patty Chang, and you can ask her any questions at pchang@nfb.org, but she wants you to consider joining the PAC plan, which is our pre-authorized check program. I'll talk about those numbers, hopefully encourage you later when I get a chance to talk to you at the banquet. We want you to consider actually making a legacy gift to our fundraising efforts. I know that I have a life insurance policy, and I want my work and value and benefit to the organization to live longer after me. So a percentage of that life insurance policy is being allocated to be given to the National Federation of the Blind once I leave. Because I figure as long as I'm alive, I can continue to give that 100%. And once I'm gone, then hopefully I can continue to participate through that wonderful gift to the organization. I just want you to know that if you want access to many of the projects and programs that we talked about, there's a variety of different ways of getting that information. You can read our Braille Monitor online, which is our monthly publication. You can come here and visit our Jacobus Timbrook Research Library if you choose to. It has the history of the blindness movement, but that's once we reopen. You can visit, if you're a researcher, the Journal of Blindness, Innovation, and Research, which is a tremendous peer-reviewed publication that speaks to blindness and research around blindness in a way that we feel is authentic. You can sign up for the Imagineering Our Future e-newsletter that comes from the president every month. You can listen to our Nation's Blind podcast, which I enjoy co-hosting with Ms. Melissa Riccobono. And it is back up now. We had some problems with the live stream, with the stream through Apple, but it's back up. Just ask any device to play the Nation's Blind podcast. The Voices of the Nation's Blind blog also periodically publishes information, and we also encourage you to submit information. We do encourage guest blogging. You can get press releases and other news releases by visiting nfb.org/press-room. And we also have social media. At NFB_Voice is our Twitter handle. You can find us as National Federation of the Blind on Facebook, and so many other ways to reach out to us. So I just want to encourage you to be part of the wonderful thing, which is the National Federation of the Blind. Sorry to rush through everything, and hopefully I'll be able to take some time to really talk to you more about why I'm a member of the organization, the philosophy and the impact that it's had on me as an individual, and hopefully it's had on many of you. But until then, I hope that you all feel just like I do, that I'm filled with hope, energy, and love by participating in the National Federation of the Blind, because my contributions make a difference to myself and to others. And I can celebrate all of my accomplishments with my Federation family. And most important, every day, my expectations are raised. Thank you guys for the time and attention. Looking forward to interacting with you more on this convention weekend. And let's go build the National Federation of the Blind.
Well, since Everett's muted, maybe I can help out and give a door prize while they fix this. So is everybody ready for that? So Everett, you tell me when you guys are ready and I'll hand it over. So let's do some names. All right, I got a few names, and just for everyone to know, you can raise your hand. If you don't want to text, you can raise your hand. You can text me at 253-569-3397. And so we'll do it that way. So just raise your hand. I know, and or text me. So the name that we have is Virginia Dinsen. Dina Denson. No, I'm sorry, Virginia Denson. And then we have Rebecca Jakeman. Rebecca Jakeman. And Fernando, I could read that one really well. Since our last name used to be Fernandez, you know, that was pretty easy. So Fernando Cabanera. So please either raise your hand or call Cabrera. Cabana. 253-569-3397, or raise your hand. Thanks so much, everybody. Let me know within the next 5 minutes if you can. Thanks so much. Everett?
Can you hear me now? Good. Thanks, Danielle, for covering for me. It's a virtual convention, folks. Sometimes you get little glitches like that where it didn't unmute you, and so the host was muted, but that's because we were listening to Anil, and so we just forgot to hit the unmute button. But I hope that you are all hearing this now, and I know you are because I can hear myself now. So I'm glad to be back. I hope that you enjoyed Anil Lewis and the presentation he gave. I was recalling while he was speaking when I have been asked to be the national representative and have had to give that report. You never know how much to give. There is so much information in that national report, and you try to pick out as much as you can to give to everyone, but it is really hard to know when and how much to speak about. Anil did it with grace and elegance, and just sounded like he was conversationally talking with all of us, which I very much appreciate, and so grateful to Anil for his leadership that he holds as executive director of blindness initiatives at our Jernigan Institute, and then for the mentorship he's provided to me and to so many others in leadership seminars and membership seminars and so many other things. So thank you, Anil, and we'll be hearing from Anil throughout the convention. Anil is a co-host of our convention, so he can jump on anytime he would like as the national representative. We wanted to afford our national representatives the right to speak in, ask questions whenever they need to, or bring up a certain point that they might feel is important at a moment's notice. So we appreciate Anil and look forward to him participating in our convention throughout the rest of the convention. Thank you, Danielle, again. On technology and mobility and other things. And so it's really it's really sad that we had to lose her. And I think this was going to be her first NFB Utah convention. So moving right along, we are going to do a little bit of punting on the agenda. Steve Wynn is in the wings or on deck, and he will be ready to speak in just a minute. But we have a different procedure that we are putting together for this convention. As all of you know, and if you didn't know, I'm about to tell you that the convention is the supreme authority of the National Federation of the Blind of Utah. So when we're required by our Constitution to hold a convention every single year, and so that's why you are having a convention right now. We weren't able to do it in person, but we're doing it virtually. And during our conventions is when we hold elections. We have treasurer's reports to the membership. We pass resolutions regarding policies, and the convention is the authority over that. When the convention is not in session, then the board of directors, which has been elected by the convention, runs the affiliate throughout the year. But the board of directors serves at the behest of the convention. So when the convention speaks, the board of directors listens. And so we have to do some things a little bit differently with regards to elections. And as your president, I'm required to assign committees. That is also in our NFB of Utah Constitution. And so I've asked Willie and Sherilyn, Willie Black and Sherilyn Creer. Sherilyn's our first vice president. Willie Black is one of our board members. I've asked both of them to be in charge of our voting procedures for this virtual convention. And so I've asked them to give us a little bit of those voting procedures. And I believe we're going to be running a test vote. So I'm going to pass the time over to either Sherilyn or Willie. So once again, virtual convention. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties. My understanding is Willie was about to speak, but his Zoom froze up, dealing with internet and network issues. So we will have these voting procedures in just a second. Hopefully Willie or Sherilyn will interrupt me. I think what we might do is move on to Steve Wynn and get ready to have Steve Wynn speak. So hopefully Steve is ready to go. Steve is our director of the Division of Services for the Blind and Visually Impaired, which serves under the Utah State Office of Rehabilitation and the Department of Workforce Services. Steve is also my boss here at the Division of Services for the Blind. I enjoy working with Steve. Many of our members who happen to be employees here also really admire Steve and love working with Steve and for Steve. He's been a great leader. This year in particular, Steve has really taken the reins as leadership and has steered us through this pandemic, helped us and guided us to do some great things during a very hard, difficult time. So without further ado, I'd like to pass the time to Steve Wynn, Director of the Division of Services for the Blind. So Steve.
Thanks, Everett. This morning, when Everett started the convention, he talked about his long hair and he got a haircut. And he knows that I'm kind of challenged when it comes to hair. I usually have to worry about the shine on top of my head. So yeah, I think he was kind of sticking it to me there just a little with that full head of hair of his. He always likes to do that. It is nice to be here today. As I look at the list of names here that are on this Zoom meeting, there's a lot of familiar names. And as Everett said, it has been a difficult year, and it's nice to see this group being able to get together. What Everett's asked me to spend a few minutes talking about this morning is kind of the things that DSBVI has done during the pandemic, and then where we are currently. So I'll just spend a few minutes doing that. In March, when the pandemic hit, I'll be honest, I was the first who thought to myself, oh, this is going to be a couple of weeks. We're going to send everyone home. It's going to be good. We'll be back in a few weeks. And here we are in October 9th. And we're still dealing with it on a day-to-day basis. And it has been a challenge. And if I go back to March, I got together my management team. That's Adam and Everett and Donna. And the thing that impressed me most about them that day was their main focus was we need to serve our clients any way we can. And that's exactly, I think, what we did. The first thing we went about was looking at our clients, and we reached out to the consumer groups. And I'm so thankful that we live here in Utah. And we really do have a caring community. And we may not have done things as usual. We started to try to reach out to people and just see where needs were. And I was so impressed as we reached out to the consumer groups. As we reached out to NFB, it's so nice to have Everett as working for us and the president of the NFB. But people just did a great job caring for those who needed help. Our departments in particular, our task program, as you know, our training adjustment services closed in March. We sent all of our students home. We closed our apartments. We cleaned those apartments. We just got ready to, we just had a real unknown. And Adam got together with his team, and they started from day one trying to figure out how we could serve the students that we had here. And they didn't just serve the students that were our current full-time students and our current part-time students. They reached out to past students, and they just reached out to the community as a whole and started training and teaching. And it's not easy, I know, for a lot of our instructors. It's not easy to do virtual wood shop. It's not easy to do, virtual knitting or needle arts. But each one of our instructors tried to figure out ways that from their home, they could have an impact on our community. And they have done just a great job. Our low vision services obviously had to also close. But Everett is the supervisor over our low vision department. And they got together and they looked in our aware system, and we had 1,800 plus people in our aware system. And a lot of the team got together and divided those names up, and we just started to call those individuals to see how they were, wellness checks, to see if there's anything we could do to help them out. It was a great way to update our system, to know things that needed to be changed, if there were services, ways that we could help them out. They did a great job. That's the same went for our support service providers that we have for the deaf blind. Those providers go into people's homes, and during COVID, that has just not been, we have not been able to do that. So we've changed a lot of our rules for those. We've gone outside the box. We've gone outside the box in a lot of areas where we, instead of our SSPs do a lot of helping with independence, but in these times, we made it available for them to be able to go ahead and pick up a prescription, shop, or even we pay them to do phone calls in order to help those individuals out. One of the areas that probably got hit the worst in our department is our business enterprise program. When COVID hit, there was no way for our, and those of you who don't know what business enterprise is, I guess I should explain. That is our entrepreneurs who have businesses of their own, who have vending and cafeterias in state and federal buildings. Well, when COVID hit, it hit quickly, and they had inventories and they had product that when these buildings shut down, they lost all of that product. One thing that's very nice, we have an outstanding vendors committee that we're working with to try to help those vendors in any way that we can. Willie Black, who is a member of the NFB that all of you know, is the chair of that committee. And Willie's been great on helping us to make determinations of how we can get those businesses back up. We are hoping that there are some federal monies coming where we'll be able to use some VR money in order to buy them inventory to get them started back up. But we have set aside some funds, and we will continue on a daily basis to try to help those business owners get back on their feet. So I guess one of the questions is, where are we today? Our building has been locked down for a long time. We were in the color orange for a long time, and a lot of our employees have been at home. But now it's almost been a month. Our doors are open on a limited basis. We're only taking people on appointment only to come back. Our tasks, our training adjustment, once again, we have students in our building. It is very limited, to let you know. We are doing one-on-one teaching, and it is a challenge. It's a lot of work, and I am grateful that I have such a great staff that is willing to do their best at what they're trying to do. We have we have to sanitize in between each class. Wearing a mask all day is difficult. I realize that. We have to temperature check every employee as they come in, and each student. One thing that we did in the task program, we did virtual training. And once we opened our center back up, we didn't want to stop that training. So we're only teaching 4 days a week, and then 1 day a week, we're still trying to do that training. So that, because that's not just the students that are here, that is a whole community that has joined those Zoom meetings. Low vision, now that we're back, we are doing clinics. Brenda Pierce has served the rural areas. She has reached out and done a great job. Field services is a difficult one because field services just cannot go into people's homes at this time. As you know, our population is a little older, and it is hard. We don't want to put anyone at risk. So we're still doing most of that by phone or virtually. One thing that I'm really glad to announce is during COVID, we were able to hire 2 new employees. Cody is our new employment specialist. And anyone who is looking for employment, I would encourage you to reach out to Cody. She is fantastic, and she can help you out in your job search. We're also pleased to announce that we hired Uvia as a low vision specialist. Many of you know her and know the great attitude she has, and we are so happy to have her on our team. She brings a really positive attitude to our center. Personally, I think our whole team has learned so many things through this. We're never going to get back to normal. We're going to get back to a new normal. And I think we've learned a lot of things that we put in place through COVID will continue in the future because they were great ideas and they worked for COVID, but they'll also work in the future. I was on the phone the other day with an individual who just wanted to call me to let me know how much she enjoyed the trainings that the task program we're doing and how much she hopes that we continue those in the future. And those are the things that we'll want to do. We actually had this week, last Friday, we had our first virtual and in-person graduation for a student. And I thought, I wonder how that's going to work. And it just turned out fantastic. I think we can do all these things. We are certainly in a challenging world, and we kind of have to do different things day by day. We have had so many things. We've had fire, we've had earthquake, we've had winds, and we've had COVID this past year. And, you know, every day is a new challenge. And I know that I'm very proud and very grateful for my staff and for the changes that we've had to make. I know that Everett, probably with the NFB, there's been a lot of changes. We actually do grants for the Bell program and other programs that they have. And I know they've had to make a lot of changes. So I'm grateful to have the opportunity to speak to you and share a little today about what DSBVI has been doing. Please reach out if there's anything we can do to help you out. And I hope that everyone enjoys this conference. It looks like it's a great agenda. So thanks for having me, and enjoy your day. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Steve. You know, Steve's one of the calmest leaders in any kind of adversity, any kind of challenges that happen. As he mentioned, earthquakes, winds, fires, pandemics. Steve is unshakable. He handles everything with grace and leadership. And it's been a pleasure to work with him throughout all of this. And I appreciate him very much. I hope he knows that. I know that so many blind individuals, not only employees here, but blind individuals across the state and our members appreciate Steve and call him on a regular basis. So thank you, Steve, for the great leadership you give to the Division of Services for the Blind and for the friendship and the partnership DSBVI and the NFB of Utah hold. Sherilyn is ready, so we're going to go to Sherilyn Creer, our first vice president, to go over some of these voting procedures with all of you. So Sherilyn, please take it away.
Thanks, Everett. Just want to check you can hear me.
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, thank you.
Gotcha.
Great. I, first of all, am going to break some of the professionalism that has been going on today and acknowledge I have been made aware that some of you may have seen me doing my hair earlier. So I apologize for that. I'm pretty humiliated that I showed that, but wanted to acknowledge it because I would rather you know that I know, excuse me. But I'm glad that's all I was doing when my video was on, when I thought it was not. So anyway, let's move into voting. Before I get into the details of the voting, I just want to give everyone a heads up. You're going to need to take down a phone number that will allow you to vote. So please get your phone, take down a note, program it in as a contact. Temporary one during convention, somehow be prepared to take down the phone number that I will give in a few minutes. We will get that to you, and this phone number is what will allow you to vote throughout convention. Now, the procedures we propose are as follows. Every registered convention guest will be able to vote during convention. If registered by the deadline, you entered a phone number, and that phone number was then registered with the SWIFT voting system. That number is what you will use to vote throughout convention. If you registered with a cell number that you are able to text from, you will vote by text. Instruction will be given each time we have a vote. For example, you'll be told text 1 for yes, text 2 for no. If you registered using a landline phone, your vote will be taken by calling the same number that I'm about to give you. You will then be on an automated phone call where you will be asked to enter your vote. For example, press 1 for yes, press 2 for no. Again, only those who registered by the deadline will be able to vote. All phone numbers entered in the registration have been registered within the voting system. We will be doing a practice vote here soon. So again, be ready with the phone that you registered with so that you can text from that phone or be on that landline to call in to vote. Okay, so here is the number that you will text, or in some cases, you may call. The number is 201 571 6406. I'm going to repeat it. 201 571 6406. I can repeat it again in a minute. Now, just so you're aware, if you enter a number that is not one of the voting options, you'll be notified that your vote was invalid. You'll automatically get a text telling you your vote was invalid. You then just try again with a valid vote, and then you'll be notified that your response or your vote has been recorded. If you attempt to vote on a number that was not registered for the convention or the voting system, you will get a message that your number was not recognized. Only one vote for each item that we will be voting on will be accepted from each registered phone number. So don't try to overload the system with your votes because it's only going to accept your number once. Willie, is there anything you would like to add before we do a practice vote?
Nope, I actually put the number on the screen and didn't realize the vote's live, so everybody is welcome to vote. The question for our practice vote is going to be, are you originally from Utah? We're going to give you 90 seconds to make your votes. This is a good chance if you're not sure if you're registered to go ahead and text to 201-571-6406. That's 201-571-6406. And you can text 1 for yes if you are originally from Utah, 2 for no if you are not originally from Utah, and 3 if you're unsure. And we'll go ahead and just start that 90 seconds now. What you're seeing on your screen now, if you can see that, is just a tally. You won't see that when we're doing our normal votes, but I just thought it would be fun to share this with everybody. So, and we have about 1 minute left to get your votes in. This is a lot of fun to see how this works, and I apologize for earlier. They're doing fiber optics work in our neighborhood, so I had to switch from our cable service to our hotspot so that we could get back online. So I apologize for the technical issues, but it looks like we're doing good.
I just learned from my son that because I registered for him under my phone number, that his phone number is not eligible. So maybe some of you get that message as well if you were not registered in time or are trying from a different phone number. So that is the message that will pop up, that your number is not eligible. But we hope plenty of you, and it looks like the votes are coming in, and we've got a lot of people voting and finding that system working. That's great.
10 more seconds. And we're going to go ahead and close that. And we can report to you that the results are in. Are you originally from Utah? 63% of you are, and 37% of you are not. And if you didn't get a chance to vote, we will have another opportunity coming up tomorrow before elections. So we'll go ahead and turn that back over to Everett. And thank you, everybody who participated.
Thank you so much, Willie and Sherilyn. Very much appreciate your leadership during this time handling the voting procedures. I know that we're running a little late in the agenda, and that's okay. I don't want any of the speakers that are coming up to worry. If we go a little overboard, we go a little overboard. That's okay. We have some great speeches and presentations that I still want all of you to hear. So please do not worry about that if your speaking time is just a little bit behind. Take whatever time you need to speak. Our next presenter is running for the Utah State Legislature. District 42, he's a candidate with the United Utah Party. He's a good friend, member of the Salt Lake chapter, graduate of the Division of Services for the Blind Training and Adjustments Program, Ryan Bowdwin.
Ryan, you should be able to unmute now.
All right, thank you very much. Can everybody hear me?
Loud and clear.
Excellent. Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Bowdwin. I am 36 years old. I am the United Utah Party nominee for the Utah State House of Representatives, District 42, which includes parts of West Jordan, South Jordan, and Harriman in Salt Lake County. And I am blind. I've always been a very political person. I lobbied the adults I knew on behalf of my preferred candidates before I was even old enough to vote. I hold a master's degree in international relations from the University of Warsaw, Poland, as part of my Fulbright fellowship to that country. Most of my life, I had identified as a moderate Republican. When I lived in Utah County, I was elected precinct chairman and a member of the Utah County Republican Party Central Committee. The extremism that I saw there led me to ultimately change my party affiliation and join the United Utah Party. The United Utah Party is a moderate centrist third party made up of former moderate Democrats and Republicans working together to improve the political climate in Utah. We seek to elect reformed-minded candidates that will help bring a modicum of sanity back to our polarized political environment. After volunteering with the United Utah Party for some time, I was appointed the Utah County Party chairman in December 2017. I was enjoying my volunteer work, doing something I was intensely passionate about to make my community better. When I got my RP diagnosis in February 2018, I took some time off to adjust to my new situation. I got the training and non-visual skills that I needed to go back to work. I drank deeply from the well of NFB philosophy, and I came away with a truly revolutionary idea, that it is respectable to be blind. And then, equipped with a new set of skills and the earnest belief that blindness could not prevent me from living the life that I wanted, I went back to real life. I went back to work. I went back to scouting. I started teaching Sunday school. The staff of the Training and Adjustment School and my NFB brothers and sisters taught me that I can do anything that I want to do, that I can still live the life I want. And I was crazy enough to believe them. So when my state party chairman called me this past February and asked me to run for the state legislature, I said yes, jumped in with both feet, and kicked off my campaign. I decided from the very beginning that I would be open about my blindness during the campaign, because it is respectable to be blind. It is referenced in the bio on my campaign site. Until recently, my cane went everywhere with me on the campaign trail. Now, sometimes my new guide dog Levi tags along instead. Last night, Levi was at my side as I spoke at a Meet the Candidates event. Sometimes it invites questions about how I can be an effective legislator if I am blind, which leads to a discussion about the non-visual skills I learned during my rehabilitation and the assistive technology that I use to be able to work effectively at my day job as a technical recruiter. Usually it is an opportunity to spread some NFB philosophy and help another member of the public to learn about blindness. And most of the time, Voters are very supportive of someone working through adversity to still make change in their community. Though sometimes I wish I could spend more of our conversations focused on the problems facing Utah and my plan to solve them rather than talking about blindness. Campaigning during the pandemic is certainly very different from what I had imagined a campaign would be like. With most public events being canceled, it can be challenging to find and connect with voters. It has meant that social media engagement has been more important than ever to help spread my moderate message. It has also meant that instead of knocking doors to talk to voters, my network of volunteers and I distribute door hangers throughout the district so we can have no contact. By my best estimate, we've already contacted 8,000 homes this way, and we are looking to hit another 1,000 homes in the next week. Sometimes canvassing neighborhoods invites abuse from people who do not understand blindness. A few months ago, I was quietly walking from house to house with my cane and my mask, hanging a door hanger, and then recording on my smartphone which voter I had contacted for our campaign records. Because I still have some usable central vision, I often use my smartphone visually for short tasks like this. There was an older man sitting outside on his porch, watching me from the other side of the street as I did this. And after he saw me using my phone, he started screaming at the top of his lungs that I was a fake, a fraud, a liar, that I shouldn't have a cane because I wasn't really blind and I was obviously trying to mislead the public. He was making quite the scene. I crossed the street to go talk to him. I tried to calmly explain that it was true that I was not totally blind. I tried to explain to him that blindness is not a binary condition, that most blind people have some remaining vision, and that I was one of those people. He continued to scream over me. His wife was obviously very embarrassed by his behavior, and it was becoming clear that I was not going to get through to this gentleman. Eventually, I just said that he was misinformed about the nature of blindness, and that if he ever wanted to learn more about it, he could go to nfb.org and learn more from the National Federation of the Blind. As I walked away to head to the next house, he continued to scream at me from his porch. I don't know how closely his neighbors watched this exchange, but I hope they saw it for what it was. This little episode and the dozens of conversations I have with voters in my district show me that we as the Federation have a lot of work yet to do in terms of educating the public about the true nature of blindness, about the ways we are still able to live fulfilling lives, and in terms of raising expectations for blind people everywhere. It should not be such a strange and remarkable thing for a blind person to aspire to public office and serve their community. Being a blind candidate does create certain challenges. For example, it gets a little more complicated to travel the district and put up campaign signs. Sometimes I was able to arrange a driver. Other times I just ended up using a wagon to carry my signs and tools around on foot. It takes a little bit longer to do it that way, but it sure helps you meet your step goals. Sometimes people are just hateful for other reasons that have nothing to do with blindness. I had one gentleman take the door hanger I had left at his home and follow me to his neighbor's house, give it back to me, and yell at me for leaving trash on his property. That seems like an awful lot of effort for a 10-cent piece of paper to me, but I knew that I would have to have a thick skin if I was going to run for office. We've also had a lot of success. There are many people in Utah that are looking for a way out of the partisan gridlock we find ourselves in. Many people who are excited to have more choices this election than just right and left. I have been pleasantly surprised to see that I have had more success with getting press coverage than I had expected, especially given that I am a third-party candidate in a small local race. I was able to get a nationally broadcast radio interview with NPR to discuss my campaign and the United Utah Party in general. The Salt Lake Tribune published an editorial I wrote about deceitful campaign practices in my state Senate district. And the Deseret News printed an editorial that I had written on the constitutionality of mask mandates. So now you may be wondering, what then is my platform? Does Ryan actually stand for anything? Why would I be crazy enough to run for office? I am running because our state legislature is out of touch. In the last 2 years, Utah voters approved ballot initiatives to legalize medical marijuana, expand Medicaid, and establish an independent redistricting commission. In all 3 cases, the state legislature decided to gut these proposals and replace them with watered-down versions that do not reflect what the voters of Utah intended. I pledge not to reverse any ballot initiative that is approved by our voters, including initiatives that I personally disagree with. The recent tax reform bill is another example of the legislature being out of touch. Despite overwhelming opposition from the public, the legislature passed a regressive tax reform bill that raised taxes on food and fuel. Outraged, the citizens of Utah put a referendum on the ballot to repeal this tax reform bill directly. Facing almost certain electoral defeat, the legislature eventually repealed this tax reform bill, but it should not take the threat of a ballot proposition to get our legislators to listen to us. The state legislature is not a place to subvert the voice of the people. It's a place where the will of the people should be represented. I will work to modernize our tax code without harming families that are just struggling to get by. I will oppose any effort to raise the sales tax on food. I will fight to exempt Social Security benefits from the state income tax, as 38 other states have already done. We have already paid taxes on the money that went into Social Security. We shouldn't be paying taxes twice on this money. 75% of Utahns support term limits, and yet we still don't have them. It's time for that to change. That's why I pledge to support term limits at all levels of government. Serving in these offices should be a way for candidates to serve the public, not a career. I will work to implement ranked choice voting for all Utah elections to ensure that we can all vote for someone who truly represents our values and not just vote against those that we despise. I want to help ensure Utah manages its incredible growth responsibly by investing in public transportation and making it easier for builders to be held accountable for the quality of their work. I will work to address the affordable housing shortage in Utah through a mixed development strategy that includes higher density housing as part of the solution, so that our children will be able to afford to live here. It is critical that we continue to fund state vocational rehabilitation programs that help the disabled to be able to become and remain able to provide for their own families. These programs made it possible for me to be able to remain employed and continue to provide financially for my own family. By funding 6 months of rehabilitation training, which costs the state about $18,000, give or take, the state of Utah was able to ensure that I did not become dependent on disability income for the rest of my adult life, which would have cost over $1 million just in SSDI payments. That's a pretty great return on investment for our taxpayers, but more importantly, it ensures that people with disabilities are able to have the dignity of earning their own way, that they will have the ability to compete on terms of equality in the workforce. I have been a strong advocate for people with disabilities. I currently serve as a member of the Governor's Committee on Employment for People with Disabilities, as well as the Division of Services for the Blind and Visually Impaired Advisory Council. In January 2019, I traveled with my NFB brothers and sisters to our nation's capital to lobby for legislation that would help to protect the rights of the nation's blind and ensure better accessibility of home appliances and medical devices. I worked with legislators of both parties on these issues. As your legislator, I will continue to advocate for the rights of Utahns with disabilities, with a particular focus on ensuring that they have equal access to employment and that state resources are accessible to everyone. I will help to ensure that our law enforcement officials take meaningful enforcement action against those that refuse to follow the law and exclude the disabled from restaurants and other businesses. Together, we can ensure that people with disabilities in Utah can still live a full and meaningful life and be engaged citizens in the communities where they live. One of the biggest problems in Utah has been our poor funding of education. For more than 2 decades, we have had the lowest spending per pupil of any state in the country. I will fight to protect the income tax earmark for education, and I will fight for a 6% increase in pure pupil spending in Utah. I will fight for meaningful police reform that will help improve transparency and accountability and rebuild trust in minority communities. As a former police officer, I have good insight on how we can address these issues. I will work to help ensure that our response to public health issues, such as the current coronavirus pandemic, is driven by actual scientific data, not politics. I will be an example of integrity and transparency in government. Too many politicians believe that the ends justify the means, that there is nothing too underhanded, too dishonest, too dirty, as long as it means that their team will win. And every day, our country becomes more polarized as we vote more and more to stop the candidate that we fear the most, instead of choosing someone who actually represents our values. We love to talk about draining the swamp in DC. Maybe we should take a look at the swamp right here in Utah. It's time to stand up and demand more of our representatives. We need to change our political culture such that lying to voters becomes political suicide. We need leaders who will bring systemic change to Utah and change the culture of our political scene. Integrity matters. We need leaders that trust the voters with the truth. We need leaders who will win over voters by listening to their concerns and by finding solutions to local problems, not lies and dirty tricks. The kind of people that we choose to lead us reflects on our judgment as a people, and we can do better. In today's polarized political environment, we need leaders that are pragmatic and will solve problems and embrace good ideas without worrying about what political team they came from. That is why I am running with the United Utah Party. My name is Ryan Bodwin, and I am running for the State House of Representatives. Visit my website at ryan4utah.com. That's Ryan, the number 4, utah.com, to learn more about my platform, volunteer to spread our message, or contribute to my campaign. You can also call or text me at 385-215-9108. That's 385-215-9108. It's not too late to have an impact in this election, even if you don't live in my district. Every extra dollar can help us reach more voters. Together, we can make Utah even better. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Ryan. I know that I contributed to Ryan's campaign. Even though many of you who know me, I'm a registered Democrat. So I believe in what Ryan is wanting to do. I wish I lived in his district. I would vote for him, but I didn't, but I got a chance to contribute to his campaign, and I'm proud of what he is doing, and I'm really hopeful for his candidacy and that he wins his election. Our next presenter is the director of the Utah State Library for the Blind and Print Disabled. She is a longtime friend to our organization. She's someone I admire greatly. She hires blind people, which is pretty exciting to have a state agency hire blind people. Not many other libraries across the country hire blind people, but Lisa does. And so I'm really proud to have Lisa Nelson here. So without further ado, Lisa Nelson.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Thank you, Everett, for that awesome introduction. First things first, I want to express gratitude for the support and thoughtfulness of so many of you during these trying times. Steve touched on some of the things, Steve Wynn touched on some of the things that have been going on in the building. Of course, we share the building with the Blind Center. We were locked down for quite a while. For the Library for the Blind, all of our staff have remained working throughout this whole time, as many of the libraries across the country, one by one, closed. We were getting calls from people all over the country asking for books. Luckily, we were able to continue serving people with Braille and things like that. It has been very trying times for us, but I can say without hesitation that we feel your love and we appreciate all the support you've given us. I hope everybody is staying safe and healthy, and I hope you're reading some great books. All of our library staff are doing well, and I think we all have very good vibes about the future. We just have so many positive new things happening with our service, and we're really hopeful that you'll be happy with these developments. One of the things that we're going to be moving to is called duplication on demand. This would be for people that get hard copy books from us. Essentially, instead of sending one book per cartridge, we'll be sending multiple books on one cartridge. This is happening nationwide. The National Library Service is busily converting libraries. We initially expected to move to duplication on demand in May. We will now be moving to duplication on demand in November. They're actually shipping the equipment to us. They've already shipped it. We should receive it next week. There'll be some setup time, some processing time. We do have people that have offered to be, Michael actually has contacted people to be part of a pilot of the duplication on demand system. So if you have not signed up for that and you're interested in it, just call here at the library and talk to Michael. He'll add your name to the list. Just know that we're here to help and support everyone through this transition, the change in the method of service, so don't hesitate to call or email us. A lot of people are participating in our Braille e-reader pilot. We were luckily chosen to be one of 4 libraries selected to pilot the HumanWare device. There are 4 other libraries that will be piloting the ZoomX device after the HumanWare device pilot is finished. Each pilot runs for approximately 6 months. And NLS has told us that participants are able to keep the devices after the pilot ends. So if you have one, it will be yours. If you have any issues with it, if it needs to be replaced or quits working for you, then just please send it in. Marie Parker is our liaison and she's overseeing this project. She's also our Braille transcriber. So you would be able to contact her. She put a letter in each of the boxes that the e-reader is shipped in that has her contact information. So just get in touch with her. All right, I'm going to do the Newsline update. I know people are used to Michael doing it. So mine is going to be a little more brief than what Michael will do. But we currently have over 1,700 people using Newsline in Utah. And if you're not subscribed to Newsline and you're not using it, what are you waiting for? We want you to use it. We pay for half of the cost. Blind Services paid for half of the cost. We want as many people as possible using Newsline. Everett texted me this morning that the voter information pamphlet is on Newsline. We are also recording that. In fact, we had initially started recording it at the prison. I don't know if you've heard about it in the news or saw it in the news, but the prison is actually on lockdown. They have had numerous cases of COVID come out there. So we have a volunteer that's a longtime narrator for us, and he's been in this week recording Newsline, or not recording Newsline, recording the voter information pamphlet as well. So if you have a subscription to that, we're going to be sending that out to you as well. The National Library Service is working on a way to allow people to update their passwords in the BARD app. They've got a lot of changes going on. They're trying to move BARD into the cloud. If this does happen, or I should say when this does happen, then you'll be able to listen to a book across playback devices instead of only on the device the book was downloaded to. So we're awaiting some of these new things. The infrastructure for the Library of Congress is fairly outdated. It's very costly to upgrade and to move and transition everybody to it. But hopefully sooner than later, we'll be able to have some updates in the BARD system that make it more usable, easier to use, funner to use. So we'll look forward to that. I just wanted to give an update on some staffing that we've got going on. Vince Silas, who was a long-term employee of the library, retired in May, and Julie Anderson, who is another longtime employee, will be retiring in November. I am so grateful to both Vince and Julie. They've been wonderful to work with, and their years of service and their years of dedication to both the state library and the community. Our library services and our agency has been much stronger due to their contributions. So thank you so much to them for that. One of the last things I have to bring up is we are moving to a new library site for the blind library, hopefully by the end of October. I did have the opportunity to preview it earlier this week. It's about half finished and it's very easy to navigate. We will have a blog on the new site, so we'll be able to provide updates to you more regularly and things like book lists and hopefully other things of that nature that will be of interest to everyone. But I don't have a firm date on that. There's been some things that have caused that delay. So maybe look for that in the middle of November. If you would like the voter information pamphlet in audio or braille, please contact us. We are putting the braille files for the people who have e-readers. If you want the voter information pamphlet in braille, we're going to put the braille files on a cartridge and send that out to you. So we've had quite a few people that are interested in that. And then if you would like a hard copy of a 2021 braille calendar, please contact us here at the library. And that's really all I've got to say, other than thank you again to everybody for your support and for continuing to use our library service. If you need anything, if you have any recommendations for books you would like us to record, if you need recommendations from us about books you might like to read, please don't hesitate to call us. So thanks again.
Thank you so much, Lisa. An outstanding presentation. Please, if you have questions for Lisa, you can call her at the Utah Library for the Blind. She will answer. She will take the time to answer your questions and help you. Her staff is outstanding. So please reach out to them if you have questions. If you were lucky or fortunate enough to get one of the cool new e-readers, I hope you're enjoying it. I'm enjoying mine a whole bunch. Our next presentation is from the Utah Transit Authority. Dr. Charissa Aldridge. She is the ADA coordinator for the Utah Transit Authority. I've gotten to know Charissa through the work that she does. She's spoken at our different chapter meetings. She has been a great friend. She keeps us updated on changes at UTA and what is happening at UTA. And obviously there have been many changes. So without further ado, we will bring on Dr. Charissa Aldridge. Thank you.
Thank you for that generous introduction, Everett. I just want to make sure, can everybody hear me?
Got you loud and clear.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I've been in so many Zoom meetings, Google meetings, all of those kinds of things that I never can quite keep track of how the technology is going to work from one meeting to another. So again, I appreciate the opportunity to speak with all of you and provide an update on UTA's efforts to make our services more accessible for the disability community in general, and specifically for those who are blind and visually impaired. I think the best place to start is with some gratitude. As Everett mentioned, he and I and many other members of the blind community have had the opportunity to work together over my nearly 5 years at UTA to make some of the improvements that I'm going to talk about today. So I specifically want to thank Everett for the opportunities we've had to work together. I want to give a shout out to Ryan. Ryan Bodwin has been generous enough to give us feedback about the accessibility of VIA app. I might be a little bit biased, but I was very excited in the portion of his platform that talks about improving access to transportation, specifically public transportation. And then I also want to thank Chris Wyckoff. I believe many of you will know Chris. Chris is a member of UTA's Committee on Accessible Transportation and does an excellent job of advocating for the blind community as we make decisions at UTA to make our services more accessible. So obviously I know a number of you. There are some of y'all that I don't know and I've not had the opportunity to work with. So I do want to take just a moment to kind of introduce myself outside of my role at UTA as the Americans with Disabilities Act compliance officer. Everett was kind of let the cat out of the bag. I do have a PhD in disability disciplines. The only person I've ever told had to call me Dr. Anything was my 11-year-old daughter, and she said no. So that's not something that I'm typically accustomed to being introduced as, but I do hold a PhD in disability disciplines from Utah State University. I'm not the only one in this meeting right now who is in a similar situation academically. I think the thing that might be a little bit different about me is that my past career was actually in human resource management. I have a master's in HR from Utah State University as well, and made the decision to shift from an HR focus in my career to disability advocacy and accessibility as a result of my own brain injury and related visual impairment. So I can't see to the right at all. And I learned a lot from that experience. I was living in Cache Valley at the time, had a job in Box Elder County, and couldn't get there because I didn't have access to transportation. So that was really the catalyst for my interest in accessible transportation generally and at UTA specifically. So kind of with that lens, I'm really, really proud of the work that we have been doing at UTA to make our services more accessible for individuals with disabilities. I am very passionate about this and could talk forever, but I'm well aware that I only have 10 minutes. So I'm only going to make comments on a couple of things, and then I'll provide my contact information if anybody wants to follow up with me later on and ask questions or seek resources. So first, probably the thing that I am most excited about that I think will make our fixed route bus system more accessible for individuals who are blind, particularly, is we are going to be adding, and we are currently adding, Braille to our fixed route bus stops. Historically, that is not something that we've done. So if you came up to a bus stop, you wanted to know what stop ID you were at, hopefully you already knew it, or you had an app that could read the print information at stop. We are very proud to be moving away from that expectation to infusing Braille actually at the bus stop level with some feedback from Everett and others at the Division of Services for the Blind and Visually Impaired. We are rolling out new cases at our bus stops that have Braille at the top part of the case that reads next bus text, and then it'll include the stop ID number too, and it will include in Braille the phone number to which you can text that stop ID to get information about when the next bus will be arriving at that particular stop. We've been very thoughtful. We want the Braille to look like it is part of the case itself. And so while we couldn't necessarily add Braille to the metal case, we are ensuring that the Braille is made using a product that is the same color and texture as the case itself, so it blends in and will be durable, and hopefully people will not try to pull it off. We're rolling that out at new stops as we make those improvements. The other part of that project is that we are installing new 8-sided bus stop poles. These are very specifically intended for individuals who are blind and visually impaired to be able to differentiate between a stop sign and a bus stop pole. Chris has given some feedback, as well as other members of the CAC committee, that sometimes I think I'm at a bus stop and it turns out it's a speed sign. So we want everybody to be able to know, yes, in fact, I am at a bus stop. I believe Chris has a sample of that pole, so you could talk to him about that. I've also got one here at UTA, which, assuming all appropriate PPE is in place, I'd be happy to demonstrate for you as well. So beyond the bus stop level and improvements that we are making there, something that many of you may be familiar with, but maybe not quite sure how to get, is our bus stop identification kit. It is intended for anybody with a disability, but again, particularly those who are blind or visually impaired, to be able to let a UTA operator, be it a bus operator or a TRAX operator or a front runner operator, know what route they need, what direction they're traveling, and if they need assistance. So the Stop ID kit essentially has a number of flip cards inside of it that are bound together. Each of those cards include a raised number as well as a Braille number that you can use to texturally feel which number you need or which flip card you need, because we've also included signs that say northbound, southbound, and assistance needed. Those are all available from me. Again, I'm going to provide my contact information at the end of my remarks, and you are welcome to reach out to me directly to request one of those. But you're also more than welcome to pick one up at any of our customer service locations. We are happy to provide those to you at no cost. So there's no cost to pick up that resource or request it from me. And then the last thing that I want to make a comment about is a relatively new tool that UTA has put out to the public in general And we are now providing electronic service alerts via text message about when there are outages, for example, at a particular stop, or a route is on detour, or any of those types of things. I know this is something that Chris Wyckoff has been using. The feedback I've received from him is that it's been helpful. You can find more specific information about that tool certainly on UTA's website, www.rideuta.com. You can search there for service alerts, and that will send you directly to the page. Alternatively, if you are a fan of social media, UTA actually had a post on Facebook 2 days ago with a direct link to the service alerts page, as well as a link to the page where you can sign up for specific route information. So that's really as much as I wanted to bring to your attention as far as what UTA is doing service-wise. I'll put in one last plug. UTA is very proud of our Committee on Accessible Transportation and the partnership that we have developed with the blind community through that committee. Chris has made some excellent contributions. Recruitment is something that we do every year. So if you are interested in engaging with UTA in a formal way, please know that we will be putting out recruitment information for the CAC committee in about April for you to take a look at and consider. So my contact information, if you have any questions about what I've mentioned today or want to ask me questions about other things, my phone number is 801-287-3536. Certainly available via email as well. That email address is C as in Charlie, A as in Apple, L, D as in dog, R, E, D as in dog, G as in girl, E, so C Aldridge at rideuta.com. Please, please, please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or there's something I can be helpful with. And again, thank you for the opportunity. I am going to sign out and enjoy the rest of this convention.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. This is Danielle, the door prize lady. I can't wait to give you some more awesome gifts. I have been sitting in this. There are so many amazing, cool door prizes and auction items. I cannot wait for you guys to see what we have. There's so much. So I'm going to get some names here. Are you excited? I'm moving my hand up all around and trying to see who I'm gonna get. Oh yeah. Okay. I know James over here has been like, call my name, call my name. We'll see. Okay. So the first one I have is Cassandra Payne. Cassandra Payne. The next name is Travis Quinn. And the other one, and I know this person's going to be super excited. Jerry Neely. Woo! Go Jerry. Hey. All right. So I have put together a few things. I wanted to explain to you really quick what those things are so you know what you won. So I put some things. So we have a really cool spinner. It's in a metal container. And there are many different types. I also have a box of Girl Scout cookies. Cookies. And last but not least, a gripper. It's iPhone stand gripper for your phone. I don't think it means just for an iPhone. It can mean for any phone. So we have that for one. And then I am also going to add $100 for a yellow cab. These are vouchers. So if you're in the Salt Lake City only, these vouchers, $100, you can ride a cab, yellow cab. So I'm going to put that with that. I'm going to give that to Jerry Neely. Then I also have another voucher, $100. We have a spinner. We also have I think this is a $20 gift card to Olive Garden. So that's going to be awesome. And then it also comes with a kit where you have some wipes, some really good smelling soap, and a hand sanitizer. I'm going to put that with the gift card, the spinner, and the yellow cab vouchers. Last but not least, one of our awesome gift bags. It has the water bottle, all kinds of treats, and that's going to be in a gift bag with your $100 voucher, a spinner, and a mask. So we have a lot of masks, and we're going to give those out in each gift bag. So hopefully everybody enjoys that. I look forward to the next spinner time for all door prizes. Thanks, Everett.
Thank you, Danielle. Great job. I had a request, Danielle. They want you to read the prizes before you read the names. So if you can do that, they would love that. So thank you so much.
My phone number again is 253-569-3397, 253-569-3397. You can also raise your hand. I'm going to give you 5 to 10 minutes to send me a message to let me know that you want your door prize. Otherwise, I'm putting your name back in the spinner thing, and you'll just have to wait till next time.
All right. Thank you so much, Danielle. Moving right along, I don't know if I hope you enjoyed Charissa Aldridge's presentation. I know I did. I ride the number 2 bus line, and they have now added those new 8-sided poles on the number 2. So I've found those at the bus stop really close to my house. So I really appreciate the new poles, and I really appreciate the work that Charissa and the Utah Transit Authority is doing to make public transportation safe and also readily available for everyone. Our next presentation will be a recorded message from the Lieutenant Governor. We will be sharing the screen with you in just a minute. I really wanted to have the Lieutenant Governor, Spencer Cox, speak to us in an election year. When we found out about the pandemic, our convention was still scheduled, and he at that time sent me an email saying that he didn't know if he would be able to be present just because of all the things that were happening. And then it turned out that we had to postpone our convention. I still worked with his office and reached out to him usually every other month and just kept him updated, and he was able to put together a recorded message. He asked me to give him some talking points, which I did, and I think you'll really enjoy his presentation. The Lieutenant Governor really cares about people with disabilities, especially blind people like us, and I think you're going to really enjoy this message. So James, if you'll go ahead and share the recording, please.
Hi there, I'm Lieutenant Governor Spencer Cox. Thank you so much for allowing me to address you during your annual convention. I'm sorry we're not able to experience the convention in person this year, but I appreciate your commitment and personal sacrifice to help our state respond to the COVID-19 public health crisis. I'd like to especially thank your president, Everett Bacon, for his tireless coordination to make this video message and convention possible. I'd like to take the opportunity today to talk to you about the 3 E's: elections, employment, and education. With Utah's great success in managing mail-in voting for the entire state, people who are blind or have print disabilities are not necessarily able to use these mail ballots privately or independently during election season. Utah County has successfully incorporated a secure electronic balloting program that is also accessible for people who are blind. For future elections, I would like to work with NFB of Utah, our county clerks, and our state legislature to secure the necessary funding to expand this type of accessibility across the state of Utah. Secondly, employment. Our state is proud to consistently have one of the lowest unemployment rates in the nation. However, there is considerable room for improvement for our unemployment rate among people with disabilities, especially for individuals who are blind. State government strives to be at the forefront of championing diversity among our personnel. That's why we have generated various internship opportunities in many of our state agencies, including the Utah State Office of Rehabilitation, Department of Workforce Services, the Department of Technology Services, the Department of Human Services, the Department of Environmental Quality, and the Governor's Office of Management and Budget. The private sector also plays a critical role in this endeavor as well. The Davis Technical College currently has 3 blind or low vision students participating in a 3-month CNC machining apprenticeship program. We appreciate Utah businesses who understand the value of employing people of all abilities and how making a concerted effort to prioritize inclusivity contributes to economic vitality and company culture. Would you consider working with private business entities in Utah to create quality jobs for people with disabilities? I hope so. Now, last and most important, education. COVID-19 has fundamentally transformed education delivery for students in K-12 and higher education. We know that remote learning introduces unique challenges for blind students of all ages. As a state, we need to focus on equity and its key components of access and quality. Every Utah student needs to have access to the resources that will support their growth, as well as quality materials and curriculum that are engaging and appropriately rigorous. We know that COVID-19 has caused disruption in student learning, and that's why we distributed funding to every public school from the Governor's Emergency Education Relief Fund. This funding will be specifically used to address the disproportionate impact remote learning created for our students with special needs, as well as our students at risk of academic failure. Utah as a state cannot afford to leave any student behind. It's both an economic and moral imperative of our state to ensure each Utah student has an opportunity for success. Again, thank you so much for letting me share these thoughts with you, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of your virtual conference.
I hope you all enjoyed the message from our Lieutenant Governor, Spencer Cox. I like the letter E. My mom and dad named me after my grandfather, and he spelled his name Everett with 4 E's. So I thought giving him the 3 E's would be fitting. And I was really proud of his message, and I'm excited of the opportunity I think the National Federation of the Blind of Utah can have in working with Lieutenant Governor Spencer Cox, who very well may be the next governor of the great state of Utah. Our next presenter, again, will be a recorded message. Wendy Bybee is coordinator of our Bell Academy. Bell stands for Braille Enrichment, Literacy, and Learning. Braille is beautiful. Braille rocks. We in Utah are all about that Braille. We love Braille here in Utah, and we think Braille is so important for our individuals who are blind, a way for us to communicate. And our Bell Academy has been a strong program that the National Federation of the Blind of Utah has funded for many years now. And Wendy Bybee coordinates this program. We have many other great volunteers and workers with this program: Janice Spencer, Katie Chevalier, Deja Powell has helped out, Sherilyn Creer, many Project Strive instructors like Tara Briggs and other volunteers. So it's a great program. It's a fun program. Wendy Bybee couldn't get off of work during this time. She is a teacher's aide in I believe, the Granite School District. And so she did give us a recorded message. It's short, but I think you'll enjoy it. So James, if you'll share that.
Good morning. I'm here to talk to you about the Bell Academy that we held this summer. We were unable to meet with the students face-to-face because of the pandemic. And so the national office decided that they would present Bell through Zoom. We had 11 students that participated this summer, 2 in the second session and 9 in the third session. Each student was sent a box, a large box that they could participate in the activities. Some of the favorite things were planting sunflower seeds and watching them sprout, telling jokes to one another. One of the most favorite things was they were able to meet other blind students across the country. And they thought that that was really, really cool. We had teachers from across the country who taught the students through Zoom. We had mentors here in Utah that helped with the 11 students and encouraged them to participate in the activities, talk to their parents, and encourage them to practice reading and writing Braille. I would like to thank those mentors, Tina, Katie, Sherilyn, Chase, and Marilyn, for all the help that they did with the students this summer. As far as I know, we are planning to hold the bell face-to-face next summer. The other thing that I would like to say is my appreciation to the Schools for the Deaf and the Blind for materials they let us borrow so that we can work with our students. Thank you.
All right. I'm hoping that people see that Susan Patton is our next speaker, and they will get her ready and unmuted so she can speak. I want to talk about the partnership with the Utah Schools for the Deaf and the Blind. They have been a great partner for our Bell Academy in allowing us to use their facilities when we are in person, and we appreciate that. I think we also utilize their bus services to transport students to field trips during the Bell Academy when we have them. So it's a great partnership. Susan Patton is the new principal on the blind side of the Utah Schools for the Deaf and the Blind. So there's a principal for the deaf, and then there's a principal for the blind. And Susan Patton is the new principal in that position. I don't know how familiar she is with the National Federation of the Blind of Utah, and so I wanted to invite her to speak, introduce herself, so all of us could get to know her and could begin to forge that relationship with her and her great staff. We know that the Utah Schools for the Deaf and the Blind does great things here in Utah. We also know that we're a consumer advocacy organization, and we at times will challenge the Utah Schools for the Deaf and the Blind if we believe that they can do something a little better. And I know that the USDB appreciates that and wants to hear from us. And as long as we do our best to keep the relationships on a friendly and partnership level, I think that's really important. And I know it's important to USDB. They teach our students and our youth, and so they're extremely important to us. We love teachers. All of us do. All of us remember our teachers. I like to call them teachers of blind students. I know that they're called TVIs in a lot of cases. I know sometimes they're called orientation and mobility instructors. I kind of call them cane travel teachers. It just depends on what lingo you learn and what you kind of get used to. But I remember my teacher in California, and I had a good relationship with her. I had a lot of vision at the time. She decided that I didn't need Braille. And, you know, it's funny, I got to talk with her about 10 years ago because my mom and my aunt are still friends with her. And I got to speak with her over the phone. And I asked her about about my situation. And if she could go back, would she have taught me Braille? And she most definitely said yes. They didn't know I was going to go totally blind at the time, so I didn't get Braille. But it turned out that I did, and I wished I would have learned Braille as a child. And so Braille is so important, and we know it's important to USDB. So it's a pleasure to have Susan Patton here, and I hope you'll enjoy her presentation. So Susan?
Well, thank you very much, Everett. I'm very happy to be here. Everett, you're right in that I don't know a whole lot about NFB. However, I do know of the great respect that NFB has had nationwide and in the state of Utah. So I am looking forward to getting to know your members. And also, as you said, I'm always up to have challenges or to bring up concerns that maybe we're not doing something that we need to be doing, or maybe it's an answer that needs to come that we need to clarify. So I am all for those kinds of interactions. So let me tell you just a little bit about myself. I've been employed at USDB actually since 1997. Most of my time at USDB has been in the field of deafblindness. And I started out as an intervener working one-on-one as a paraeducator with 3 different students actually at 3 different times, working one-on-one to help facilitate and access information in their world. I then became a deafblind teacher, an itinerant teacher, and worked throughout the state in almost every district throughout the state. And I enjoyed that time because I was able to get to know different people in the districts, teachers, administrators. But I also served in early intervention, and that was my very favorite. I loved working with not only our children, our babies birth through 3, but I loved getting to know the families. Those relationships are still strong in my life, and I cherish them. And then also I became the director of deafblind services and have been in that capacity since 2014. And then took on the capacity of the associate superintendent for the School for the Blind as of June 1st. Of this year. So as you can see, I'm very, very new. I'm not sure this was the best year to take over an endeavor like this, but it just kind of worked out that way. I will say that at the School for the Blind, we have a lot of struggles as far as COVID-19 is concerned, because we have some students who have chosen to learn remotely. And as you all know, that's a difficult challenge for us. But it's interesting. It's kind of like we set the precedents, or we set the bar. It's been a high bar for our teachers to be able to teach our students in a remote, both asynchronous and synchronous platforms. And honestly, they have been so creative, and the amount of effort that's been put into that and the progress that we've seen has really been immense. Now, that's not the case for all students, but it's been very eye-opening as far as what they're able to do. We are offering both an online and then in school or in person. And so far, we've had 6 students come back to school because of the safety precautions that we've been able to put into place. So we feel very fortunate about that. So that's just an update on our COVID issues. We at USB have, as I'm sure that a lot of you know, we have different divisions, and each one of those divisions have a director, and they're known as kind of the principal. They're on the same level as a principal in the regular education school or the public school system. We have a parent-infant program that serves birth through 3. We have a campus program. Well, let me go back. The PIT program actually has served this last year 463 children. The PIT program on both the deaf and the blind side serve the largest portion of the students or children. We then have our campus program, and last year we served a total of 59, and those are the students that are primarily in USB classrooms, classrooms for the blind and visually impaired, with a teacher of the visually impaired as guiding that instruction. That is from preschool through post-high, through our post-high program. Then we have our outreach program, and our outreach served 398 students this year. We served in 28 school districts and 30 charter schools. And then in addition to that, we have 12 O&M instructors that are serving in districts and in homes as well. And then lastly, we have our deaf-blind division, and we served 133 students. And that's not, none of these are including referrals. They're all just the students that we have either been on the IEP or IFSPs to serve. In addition to all of these divisions, one of the focuses, not one of the focuses, probably the focus in my mind is the expanded core curriculum and how very, very important and critical it is. We have an expanded core curriculum director who is phenomenal, and she has helped us embed the expanded core curriculum in our activities, and that is our post-high programs, working in the community and in our dorms and residences. She's also helped us implement the expanded core curriculum with our parent infant program children, our outreach program, our campus program, and our deaf-blind program. And her name is Robin Clark, and I know that a lot of you know Robin. She has short-term programs that are once a month that we used to bring kids in and do community activities and have an overnight, a Friday night and Saturday that we would expose and help facilitate expanded core curriculum activities. Since COVID, we had to move those to an online platform. So we've sent packages out to the kids who want to participate, and they've been participating in an online forum. And I've been surprised how successful it is. I actually, and we did that with our summer camps too. And I was able to join some of those summer camps and watch the kids cook their meals at home, with possibly a parent or maybe not a parent. And then they would taste their food and whatnot. So it was a fun experience, although we would really like to have remained to be able to get together. Along with those programs that are kind of a direct service program, we do have like I said, the ECC, our short-term programs, our summer camps, the college transition. We have low vision assessment. We have Dr. Michael Judkins, who's our low vision optometrist, and those are free. He does assessments statewide to all students. It doesn't matter what district, if they're being served by USDB or if it's just a referral basis. That is a resource that we offer statewide to any child or an adult that has a referral for a child. We also have our Educational Resource Center that is also available for all families and school districts to be able to see if we have a piece of technology or other devices or other resources that they might be in need of. And then our students participate, not this year, but we participate in the Junior Blind Olympics. We participate in space camps. And one of the things that we've been able to do in the last several years is become part of our Washington, DC advocacy group, in which our kids have been able to go to Washington, DC. It's in March-ish, which was canceled this year. And they were able to take the stage and the legislative level and talk about services that are needed for blind, visually impaired, and deaf-blind individual students, which has been a great thing. I would like to say that the main thing for the Utah Schools for the Blind is the preparation and academic success of children, students, and post-high kids. We want them to achieve. We want to prepare them both academically and also in real life circumstances to be productive. And as Lieutenant Governor Cox was speaking, we know that our employment rate for our blind, visually impaired adults after they leave any education system is quite low. And we want to see those numbers go up. And we feel a huge responsibility to help make that happen with preparation for those life events. We are grateful to be able to serve these kids in so very many capacities. And I have to say that I am humbled every day. I try to, or most days, I try to be involved in a visit virtually or in person with one of the students or the classrooms. And it's amazing to me what goes on. And I'm very proud of that. I also will say that one of our big pushes this year and in the future is going to be technology and assistive technology. And we do assistive technology assessments statewide. That's offered to every school district. And that's going to be one of my pushes, is that we gain more funding so that we can provide more resources for assistive technology. I feel like it's imperative, especially when we're looking at online learning or remote learning. Our teachers have been so great in coming up with creative ways. We've delivered packages on doorsteps and to provide hands-on experiences, but we need to push assistive technology. And so that's going to be one of my goals and one of the School for the Blind goals. So again, thank you for letting me introduce myself. I look forward to getting to know some of you, and I will put my email in the comments, and please feel free to reach out to me and ask questions or whatnot. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody. Sorry about that. I was trying to unmute myself. So, like was requested, I am going to tell you what we're going to give away for a door prize first before I pull out the name. Okay. So to give away a spinner, which I have it all brailled out because Braille is important since it is Meet the Blind Month. So we have a spinner. It's in a circular metal case. I am going to give $20 in cash. Woo. We are going to give away also the phone gripper. This is a zebra type of phone gripper, so hopefully it's a girl. No. Guys, you can still, I'm pretty sure nobody will make fun of you. Okay. And then also we have the Girl Scout cookies. So let's see who we got first. All right. And the name is Mark Turley. Mark, I hope you really enjoy it. You can always give it away to one of your students. Okay, so the next person is going to receive $60 Yellow Cab vouchers if you were in Salt Lake City proper. A spinner. We have our very good smelling kit that has wipies, a bar soap, and it smells like zestfully clean, and and hand sanitizer because it is awesome. And maybe I'll throw in a little mask over there. So let's pick out another name. Okay, last but not least, we have Helen Ekman. Woo, go Helen. All right, thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you, Danielle. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. We are a little late on time, but that's okay. These presentations are very important, and the door prizes are a lot of fun, and I know everyone enjoys them. So our last presentation for this first day of our virtual convention is an extremely important presentation because our Project Strive program means a lot to us. We worked hard to get the Project Strive program going. It's been going strong now for, gosh, I believe going almost 10 years. And it's an outstanding program that means a lot to many of our members, and many of our scholarship winners have come out of this program. So I'm very excited about Project Strive and the future of it. And so here to give this presentation is our Project Strive coordinator and our first vice president, Sherilyn Creer.
Thank you, Everett. I first just want to thank Susan for being a part of our convention. It was great to hear from you and get to know a little bit about you. I hope to partner with you in terms of Project Strive, as well as our parent organization, which I'm also a part of, being the parent of two kids with low vision who have been served by USDB. So now getting into my presentation, many of you know that recently, in fact, 3 weeks ago today, my sweet dad passed away. I'm the 9th of 10 kids, all of whom spoke at the graveside service. Although there are many of us, I am the only one of his children who has low vision. This meant that my unique experiences that I shared all related to me seeing the world differently than my siblings. At less than 2 years old, whether it was the leaves on trees or trees themselves, I was seeing for the first time. Dad held me on his lap on the car ride home from the optical after getting my first pair of glasses, allowing me to see the world in a way I hadn't before. Dad helped me experience the world in hands-on ways when I couldn't see it. A few examples. He took me and my little sister fossil hunting up Provo Canyon and whale watching, or more like listening for me, from a rowboat in Friday Harbor, Washington. He even stopped the family station wagon halfway out of the driveway so he could go collect a large June bug that he then placed in my hand. I did not appreciate that last hands-on experience. I do, however, appreciate that my dad held me to the same expectations as he did the rest of the kids when it came to chores, yard work, and school responsibilities. I love him for that. But I think it might have contributed to my attempts to fake that I could see like my peers. When I was in 7th grade, I just advanced to an honors English class. I hadn't had time to rewrite my notes in large print marker for a group report. So my group's leader whispered my part to me in my ear all throughout my portion of the presentation, since I couldn't read my own notes. I was completely humiliated, but my dad got a good laugh when my teacher called him later that day to regretfully inform him that I could not read. Chuckling, I'm sure, my dad informed her, "She can read just fine. She just can't see." It was around that time that I lost quite a bit of eyesight. My dad was the one who took me for testing at the Moran Eye Center. It was a scary and even painful process. But Dad was with me the entire way. I'll never forget him calling me from work a few days later after he'd received the results. He calmly explained the diagnosis, that my eyesight would not improve, would most likely get somewhat worse, but that I was going to be okay. Witnessing the magic of special education services, turning my education around, solidified my desire to become a teacher. I have very early memories of my dad equipping me with notepads, pens, and markers as a toddler to be babysat on the front row of his lectures. BYU surplused chalkboards and 2 rows of antique wrought iron with wooden flip seat desks in our playroom gave me plenty of practice playing school. Because of Dad's influence, it seemed only natural that I would become a teacher too. After graduating and moving to Davis County, I was completely homesick. I would come home as often as I could, down to Orem, and subsequently often needed a ride back to my apartment Sunday nights. I will treasure always those trips when my dad drove me home. He shared stories about his childhood and his own teaching experiences. Not long before my dad retired, Ray Martin, who many of us know and love, who had taken a class from Dad at BYU, helped me pitch an idea to him to give blind kids a day of science in his labs. We didn't get very far into our presentation. In fact, I worried Dad was not having anything to do with the idea when he quietly exclaimed, "We'll call it Science Without Sight is exciting. Then, with minimal assistance from blind role models, my dad and his assistants gave blind kids the opportunity to feel what he called his critters and even dissect a shark. I think that day, my dad might have believed in blind people more than even I did. It's been years since my dad was able to get down and play with Chase and Millie, but I'll be forever grateful for the times he would watch or listen to them play and say to me, "Your kids have a happy life, don't they?" In thinking about what I would say here to you today about Project Strive, I realized so many things my dad represented in my life is what I hope Project Strive can represent in the lives of Utah youth who are blind or have low vision. Project Strive, its instructors and mentors should provide a positive view of the world, create hands-on experiences, facilitate job exploration, encourage and empower those facing challenges and overcoming fears, take time to mentor, and contribute to happy lives. These past several months have been different from our usual in Project Strive. I'd like to acknowledge those who helped bring about successes before and even during the pandemic. Since our last state convention, we've had wonderful junior mentors. A shout out to Brinley Cherry, Marilyn Parker, Matthew Robinson, Riley Phelps, and Damian Rush. Our 2019 Bell Academy was a success due in great part to more junior mentors: Brooke Richards, Erica Osgathorpe, Jaden Albrecht, and Riley Phelps again. Our recent all-virtual 2020 Bell Academy, as Wendy mentioned in her recording, included virtual junior mentoring by Chase Creer and Marilyn Parker. We couldn't make Project Strive work without the youth that are involved, who give us their input and youthful ideas. I want you to know that though we're in a pandemic, Project Strive is moving forward. In fact, join us tonight for our annual karaoke and talent showcase. Also, please put November 14th on your calendars. We're going on a fall hike in Memory Grove and have some fun things to do on that day. With the help of wonderful instructors, Ashley Price, Jared Mendenhall, Tara Briggs, Willie Black, and numerous other role models and volunteers from this organization, we are committed to increasing recruitment, providing new and meaningful experiences, increasing employment opportunities, and so much more. With renewed determination, we as a team will continue to ensure Project Strive broadens youth horizons by instilling hope, building confidence, providing mentorship, ensuring success, promoting self-reliance and positive attitudes about blindness. I know my world won't look the same without my dad in it, and I will live my life trying to be worthy of his love and looking up to his example. In so doing, I hope that my leadership in Project Strive will make the world, the horizon, look a little brighter and feel more full of possibility for blind and low vision Utah youth. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sherilyn. That was a beautiful tribute to your father. Our Project Strive program is very strong under Sherilyn's leadership as coordinator. and the instructors that we have. And we know that the pandemic has brought challenges to the Utah economy, but we are still trying as best we can to move forward. We are hoping that we will continue to receive the funding from the Department of Workforce Services for our Project Strive program. And we're excited about the future and figuring out ways to bring about more funding from other avenues. That's our first day of our virtual convention. We're a little after 12, but I think we did pretty good for the time frame. I hope that all of you have enjoyed this. I know that I can't wait to get up and walk around a little bit. My lower back is starting to feel the pain of sitting for about 3 hours, but it's been a lot of fun giving this presentation to you. Don't worry, we will have more door prizes. I think there'll be some door prizes tonight given away at the talent show, and I think there'll be I know there'll be a lot of door prizes tomorrow. So get ready for a fun-filled day. 2 p.m. is our resolutions committee meeting, so if you want to be a part of that, check out the rest of our agenda. And on that note, our first general session is now adjourned.
R-E-S-P-C-T, find out what it means to me.